We're in a toxic environment these days. And that's a really, really powerful statement. If you grasp what
welcome
that means,
everybody. Do you know what? I just messed that intro up. Give me 1 second. That's the wrong webcam. Welcome everybody, how are we doing? Right, I'm trying to do a really smooth intro and it didn't go to plan, but we will play what I was going to play because it's very important. Detoxification is more important than nutrition. How about that? What a thing to say.
Toxic loaded environment. My cousin has been saying this for a while. He says, detoxification might be more important than nutrition these days. And that's a really, really powerful statement. If you grasp what that means that, my God, what are we subjected to on a daily basis? And so for me, we have to take it into our commitment for our lives to step forward and find solid truths that work with us and get back to the fundamentals. And look, no, you don't have to do that, but this is just you and I riffing and where my advice comes. There's no one out there that's going to save you. The medical system's not going to save you. This supplement's not going to save you. That doesn't work that way. You have to build foundational health in your mind, body, and soul. You have to have a practice. You have to have rituals. We seem to have become so lazy that just seeing somebody else do a ritual that kind of takes it up for us. There's something
like
to
you
that.
meditate? Perfect. I don't have to.
Right. Like just knowing someone else is doing the work or is out there doing it kind of satisfies us.
To get vaccinated, to wear masks, screw your freedom.
Right, we've got some interesting tech problems. It is windy. We are expecting 60-mile-an-hour winds down here where the pirate ship is tonight. The reason I've got a lot to explain as well, guys. Okay, I'm having weird, like my PC's acting really slow. I've just restarted it before the show. My mic levels should be okay now as well, although it's still a bit quieter than I'd like. But so I brought the show forward because I'm actually going up to London. I'm going up to London tomorrow morning early, and I'm working all weekend over the bank holiday weekend in Croydon, of all places. My experiences of Croydon involved a car. My first experience involved a car mounting the pavement and crashing into the bar smoking area where I was smoking with her on a date many years ago. Police came, everything. It thought it was a, can't say the words actually, TA, you know what I mean. So I'm off all weekend, so this will be the last show for a little while, for a couple of weeks. Yeah, Arnie, I've got some news. I'm also going to be on Unity News Network. Do you know what? It's skipping loads. I'm just noticing the let me just sort the settings out. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I've just got sort of, I think it's skipping a lot. Let me sort the stream out a bit.
I'm Professor Yuval Noah Harari. I'm a historian and a professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. One of the biggest things happening in the world right now is a shift in authority from humans to algorithms, to AI. Now, increasingly, this decision about you, about your life, is done by an AI. The AI goes over enormous amounts of data about you, which no human being is able to do. And maybe the bank says, no, we don't give you a loan. And you come to the bank and you say, why not? What's wrong with me? Why did you deny my application? And the bank says, the algorithm said no. But the problem is that you just can't, because an AI makes decisions in a fundamentally different way than humans. Some people think, again, that creativity is some mystical, supernatural thing that AI will never have. But actually, in many cases, creativity means being able to spot a pattern and then break it in a creative way, in a new way, do something new. And this is something that AI is actually becoming very good at. And there are fields when already today AI is more creative than humans. A famous example is chess. AI, it's not just that AI now plays chess better than humans. It's much more creative in the type of moves that it makes. And the same is with the game of Go. So, and this can extend to more and more fields. Many people think that the main aim of music is to inspire human emotions. Now, if this is what music is about, very soon AI will be better than most human musicians. Yeah, one of the biggest dangers with this new technology is that, a lot of jobs will disappear. So the biggest question in the job market would be whether you are able to retrain yourself to fill the new job, and whether the government is able to create this vast educational system to retrain the population. People will need to retrain themselves. Or if they can't do it, then if you can't do it, the danger is you fall down to a new class, not unemployed, but unemployable, the useless class. People who don't have any skills that the new economy needs. This will be a disaster. The profits of the new industries, they are used to benefit the whole population, to retrain themselves and fulfill their entire human potential.
Having serious mouse problems. So my mouse is sticking on the screen. You know when you drag your mouse, like if your computer's processing a lot of stuff, when you drag your mouse, my mouse sticks and it won't move for like 2-3 seconds. So I've just got to wait for it to move. It's acting really weird. Don't know what it is. We are experiencing very high winds down here today. The stream shouldn't be skipping anymore because I put my internet up top high. So we should be streaming better now. If somebody can let me know if my mic is okay and the stream isn't skipping too much. Andy Pandy, welcome. John Francis, good to see you. The Sute, welcome. Brian A. Metz, can't even scroll up the chat because my mouth is like. Audrey B, welcome. Non-conformista, welcome. How are we doing? Right, we will continue. So that clip, I'm going to play it again actually because it's so... oh God, this mouse, honestly. I think my mouse is on the way. I don't know what... It's a good mouse as well. It's 50 quid mouse. But it's... I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know what's going on today. It is windy, man, honestly. You should see all I can hear is that I've got a tarpaulin tarp over the boat. It's all tied down. And it's like... It wants to take off. So, quite interesting. But I've been doing a lot of work on the boat. I'm going up to London to work for a couple of weeks. So you might not get any studio shows from me for a couple of weeks. Tej Pal, welcome. How you doing? Good to see you, brother. So let's get into it. Anyway, we're going to show you a little clip of a of one of those planes that does the one of these planes that are totally peaceful. These planes. Look at this plane. Check it out. OGB. I have a mouse mat. Can't see it. I have it on a mouse mat. So the stream is good. It shouldn't be skipping anymore because it is windy today. Anyway, yeah. But that plane. I mean, wow.
Sneaky little hobbitses.
Yes, they are. A word from Gollum. Right. So this is a Friday night show, but I wanted to do it because I'm going to be away for 2 or 3 weeks and you're not going to get a show. And this is part 2 of BiOENGiNEERiNG the HYBRiDS. Good title. And yeah, let's play the clip. I want to play it again because this clip is so important. And I'm going to play it 3 times on the show tonight because everybody needs to do it, right? I'll show you in a minute, but I've been taking diatomaceous earth and vitamin C powder, L-ascorbic acid, right? And the mouse, I think it might be my computer because it's been such a good computer, but it's time for a new one, if you know what I mean. I've unplugged the mouse. It's not that. I think it's my PC. I'm not sure. So it's all good. We can still do the show. But yeah, diatomaceous earth, right? So I get home from work. I've not eaten for a couple hours. I have a glass of water, like water up to there, teaspoon of diatomaceous earth. Drink that, stir it because it's like residual. Stir it, drink it, fill it up again with water, vitamin C powder, and drink that. Okay, that's got vitamin C in it now. But right, the point is, I've been doing this for about 6 days now, 5 days, 6 days. I have got so much energy. Honestly, you can see it in me. I have got so much energy. It's like I'm on drugs, and I'm not. But honestly, it's fucking crazy. I feel younger. I don't want to sit down. I've been doing work on the boat, 3-4 hours every day, and working. Not that I'm doing a lot of work, but yeah, it's interesting. Got good numbers on actually. 29 watching. That's good for EKoM. Should be way more than that, but. Like, typically, I will get 45 people watching my show. 45 people, max, is what I get, right? That's 1% of my subscribers. 1% of 4,500. Yeah, right. Clip. Very important. Listen. Take notes. Do it. Lead by example. Be true to yourself. Be positive. That's how we win this. That's how we change it.
Or, we're in a toxic loaded environment. My cousin has been saying this for a while. He says, detoxification might be more important than nutrition these days. And that's a really, really powerful statement. If you grasp what that means that, my God, what are we subjected to on a daily basis? And so for me, we have to take it into our commitment for our lives to step forward and find solid truths that work with us and get back to the fundamentals. And look, no, you don't have to do that, but this is just you and I riffing and where my advice comes. There's no one out there that's going to save you. The medical system's not going to save you. This supplement's not going to save you. It doesn't work that way. You have to build foundational health in your mind, body, and soul. You have to have a practice. You have to have rituals. We seem to have become so lazy that just seeing somebody else do a ritual, that kind of takes it up for us. There's something
like,
to
you
that.
meditate? Perfect. I don't have to.
Right. Like, just knowing someone else is doing the work or is out there doing it kind of satisfies us.
Now then, guys and gals, what have we
I'm
here?
Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kinda glad I never got that girl.
Right, that clip I just played, that's actually one of our viewers, one of our good viewers. Yeah. I tampered with it, but I'll play it again just for the crack. This mouse, honestly, it's doing my head in. And you start moving the mouse to find it because you can't see it because it disappears. That's clearly not right. Fun. Right.
Now then, guys and gals, what have we here?
I'm Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kinda glad I never got that girl.
Sorry, I could crack it up. Right, welcome MK, welcome Vivarium Snake, good to see you. Also, Mr. Obvious, welcome. Good to see you too, brother. And Sail Away. Robert Cole, welcome also. We've got good numbers today. Right, it is windy, it is blowing a hoolie above. All I can hear is my tarp going. We are expecting 60-mile-an-hour winds tonight. On that note, we will get into this, okay? So, this mouse. We've done that. Which clip we've done? We've done that one, right? Let me take that one out. Oh, no, not that one. Just a second. This one. I know, we've watched this one.
Now, in the past, many tyrants and governments wanted to do it, but nobody understood biology well enough. And nobody had enough computing power and data to hack millions of people. Neither the Gestapo nor the KGB could do it. But soon, at least some corporations and governments will be able to systematically hack all the people. We humans should get used to the idea that we are no longer mysterious souls. We are now hackable animals. Data might enable human elites to do something even more radical than just build digital dictatorships. By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself. Because once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity.
Right, I'm gonna stop Noah there, okay? Because he wants to hack humans. He thinks it's a good thing. He boasts about it. He's clearly happy about it. Wow. I always call it this Internet of Things. I call it the digitization of nature. That's what it is. This nano is literally covering everything on the planet. Trees, rocks, everything, animals, everything. And when they bring in this IoT, it's coming, or they want it to come, but Gary Carter, welcome. Truly Lynn, welcome, also good to see you. And Caroline Elliott, welcome, good to see you. Good numbers today. Early show gets good numbers, strange. But this nano, this terraforming, this documentation and audit, a global audit. That's what it pretty much is. It's a worldwide audit. And do you know who is actually at the cause of this worldwide audit? Kaiser Charlie Gotha. And also I want to touch on actually diatomaceous earth. You see there, yeah. Diatomaceous earth, food grade, and you can get feed grade, which is okay for plants and animals, I think. But I've lost my thread. Yeah, let's watch a bit more of the video. Actually, I had a speech to speak and I just forgot it. So we watch more. We continue. EKoM out.
This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago. For 4 billion years, nothing fundamental changed in the basic rules of the game of life. All of life, for 4 billion years, dinosaurs, amoebas, tomatoes, humans, all of life was subject to the laws of natural selection and to the laws of organic biochemistry. But this is now about to change. Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Intelligent design of our clouds. The IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution. And at the same time, science may enable life, after being confined for 4 billion years to the limited realm of organic compounds, science may enable life to break out into the inorganic realm. So after 4 billion years of organic life shaped by natural selection, we are entering the era of inorganic life shaped by intelligent design. So does the data about my DNA, my brain, my body, my life, does it belong to me or to some corporation or to the government or perhaps to the human collective? Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, you know, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
That's all.
Oh, today we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, I mean, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people...
Oh my god, right. Oh, I'm having serious mouse problems here. It just totally stopped working. 32 people watching. Welcome everybody. It's EKoM. It's an early Friday show this week, because I'm not going to be here this weekend, so I thought I'd get this in as part 2 of the bioengineering project. And exactly what Noah, this little Schwab's pleb is talking about, hacking humans, how fucking dare he? Do you know what I mean? Who gives him the right? Who gives the WEF the right? Who gives all these fuckers the right to interfere with us? To interfere with our brain? And we're going to be talking about the brain and how they can actually track us, how they can interlay thoughts into our fucking brain. It's disgusting. It is. I'm passionate about this, and I'm going to get more passionate about it because I am, and I want the world to change. And it's about being positive. Lead by example. Show these sheep that aren't thinking, these inconvenient, lazy assholes. I even watch it like driving on the motorway. The way some people are thinking now. They're robots, some of them. They're fucking robots, honestly. Like, the way they're driving, like, cutting in really close to you for no fucking reason. I'm sitting there in 60 in the slow lane. Do you know what I mean? Just little things. And you see that, silence. Sorry, what OGB says in the chat. Apparently we give them right. Well, silence is, what's the word? Silence is given permission because you're not speaking up and saying no. You're given can't remember the word, but yeah, it's like these sheep, and I'm going to call them sheep today because I'm getting tired of people. I'm getting tired of people not looking up at the fucking grey sky and not paying attention to what's going on. How can you see the world's not going to fucking shit? These boats crashing into bridges all of a sudden, 3 in one fucking day, etc. Oh man, honestly. But these sheep, these people that don't think and are too lazy to think, or they can't think because they haven't got a soul, it's one of those 3. if not all of them. And these are going to bring us down eventually. I'm not being negative, but you got to think about 3 posts, MK. Stop putting me off, MK. It's and Andy Pandy, welcome, good to see you, mate. But like these sheep, right? They are gonna lead to. Well, they're not. I'm not being negative, but it's not really a time to be all just shuffle them through it, like try and wake them up. Fucking shout at them because they need to fucking see sense. Honestly, I'm swearing a lot in this episode, but excuse the language. But yeah, you know, it's not time for fun and games and Netflix and chill anymore. The time is now, and I can't even say what needs to happen on this platform. Otherwise, I'd end up in fucking prison. So that's what I think about it, and it's true. It's true.
People will never agree to, but in a crisis, you see, we have no chance. So let's do it.
Vaccine won't help us go
The
to
vaccine
the test, of course.
will help us, of course. It will make things, more manageable. Surveillance. People could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
One of the features of this fourth industrial revolution is that it doesn't change what we are doing, but it changes us.
The difference of this fourth industrial revolution is it doesn't change what you are doing. It changes you. If you take genetic editing, just as an example.
If you take a genetic editing, what a scumbag! What a scumbag this guy is, honestly. What a scumbag. His dad worked for the SS, for the Germans, developing illegal nuclear weapons. This old Pappy Schwab. But you know, like in the presentation later, it's going to be a couple hours, 2.5 hours probably today. I've got a lot of videos to play, but we're going to be looking at what's inside of us, and it's nano. And it's not, no, this was done a long time ago. Say 2004, 2007, 2012, 2017. All those years were big years for DARPA. They were big years for Google, because Google are owned by DARPA and YouTube are owned by Google, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, US government. And what's inside of us, if these people, if the normal people, what is normal anymore? These normal people knew what was inside of them, they'd fucking freak out. They'd freak the crap out, man. Even what I've been looking at, I'm just thinking I can't play the videos even actually. But what I've been looking at, because I couldn't play the videos in the presentation we're going to be looking at later when I was on the show. But this girl, Sabrina Wallace, there's information in my group, in my Telegram group, about the links to her information, and it's evidential. It's evidential. The IEEE is a brain project. Why the fuck, when I was shopping on Amazon a couple weeks ago, why did I see a router on Amazon, 60 quid, and it was on the label on the router, I saw IEEE, the brain. Why is a brain project on a router nowadays? Interesting, isn't it? They no longer just listen to us. I think they know what we think, and they can capture some thoughts. That's why we see when you go on eBay or Amazon or whatever shop you go and shop on, you see items that you were thinking about. Because all this nano inside of us, we are nodes on the network, and what we all have inside of us is fucking nuts. It's crazy, and we're going to be getting into that. It's crazy.
I don't understand you. It's crazy. You understand?
Yep.
It's you who are changed, and of course this has a big impact on your identity.
And offer certain kinds of possibilities that have to be careful about. You know, when you began to do that kind of gene editing, some people worry that you are changing what it means to be human.
That's the problem. Of course, the new industrial revolution offers us many opportunities, but it raises manifold questions on the ethical, but even legal implications. And we have to be prepared for it, and that's what we want to do in Davos next year.
Talk about technology and how the ways it can be deployed, that contribute to growth rather than exacerbate unemployment. How will that implement itself?
It's a big question mark, because there is a fear that technology, robots, just to take one
you gain
element,
productivity from machines.
Exactly, and it replaces maybe the workforce or jobs faster than we can replace them with new jobs. Not everybody can be a robot polisher and so on, so there will be new jobs.
Sneaky little hobbitses.
Oh, mouse problems. It was alright for a minute, then it started again. So yeah, it's very interesting. Sneaky little hobbitses is right. Here is some information about CRISPR. It's a very short video. CRISPR is a gene editing tool. Actually, before we get into this, while I remember, okay, it's wet everywhere, right? It's soaking wet. The ground is soaking. I'm actually not working on the job I was on next week because the field's so wet. The digger was getting bogged in the field. So I'm going up to London tomorrow morning, and I won't be here for any more shows for a couple of weeks. But my point is, right, all this rain is going to affect farming. It's going to affect the crops this year. We're going to get very deep here, right? What I think it's going to do also, though, right? Do you remember La Palma? And we got the eclipse. We got Kaiser Charlie Gotha. We got La Palma. All these things, these tsunamis, the floods, these Book of Revelations, these events from that book that was banned from the Bible. Like the Book of Giants, HYBRiDS. The Book of Giants was banned from the Bible. Why? But anyway, but the reason I think they are flooding everywhere, especially in Britain, right? It's quite deep, quite out there theory. Yeah, flooding, exactly, HYBRiDS, right? La Palma's gonna, if La Palma goes, which there is a lot of evidence for looking like that might happen. I've even done an episode a year ago talking about La Palma. Also, the Israel Daiko Riviera, he's always pointing it out, and I got it. Yeah, it's going to happen, I think. And our ground is so saturated here right now, right? So if there was a tsunami in Britain, which is out there, if you told a normie, oh, there's going to be a tsunami that hits Britain, and it's going to go quite far inland, it sounds nuts. But I'm just putting it out there. I'm recording this. I'm putting it out there because I think this is what they're going to do. I think it's going to be Kaiser Charlie Jotha is going to die. William's going to be king around the eclipse, probably followed by a tsunami. That's what I think is going to happen. I wouldn't say it's not going to be a huge tsunami, but it might be 2, 3, 4 meters. Good job my boat's out of the water at the moment, isn't it? Let's pick it up. It's crazy, man. Gary Carter, welcome. MK, Andy Pandy 3D, White Knight, welcome, also good to see you. Caroline Elliott, Neil Christie, welcome also. Star Connections, also good to see you all in here. Right, CRISPR, let's get into it.
The CRISPR-Cas9 system is a tool for cutting DNA at a specifically targeted location. The technique has already revolutionized gene editing, but scientists are always looking for new possibilities. So what else can CRISPR do? Since being discovered in a bacterial immune system, CRISPR-Cas9 has been adapted into a powerful tool for genomic research. There are two components to the system: a DNA cutting protein called Cas9, and an RNA molecule known as the guide RNA. Bound together, they form a complex that can identify and cut specific sections of DNA. First, Cas9 has to locate and bind to a common sequence in the genome called a PAM. Once the PAM is bound, the guide RNA unwinds part of the double helix. The RNA strand is designed to match and bind a particular sequence in the DNA. Once it's found the correct sequence, Cas9 can cut the DNA. Its two nuclease domains each make a nick, leading to a double-strand break. Although the cell will try to repair this break, the fixing process is error-prone and often inadvertently introduces mutations that disable the gene. This makes CRISPR a great tool for knocking out specific genes. But making double-strand breaks isn't all CRISPR can do. Some researchers are deactivating one or both of Cas9's cutting domains and fusing new enzymes onto the protein. Cas9 can then be used to transport those enzymes to a specific DNA sequence. In one example, Cas9 is fused to an enzyme, a deaminase, which mutates specific DNA bases, eventually replacing cytidine with thymidine. This kind of precise gene editing means you could turn a disease-causing mutation into a healthy version of the gene, or introduce a stop codon at a specific place. But it's not all about gene editing. Several labs have been working on ways to use CRISPR to promote gene transcription. They do this by deactivating Cas9 completely, so it can no longer cut DNA. Instead, transcriptional activators are added to the Cas9 by either fusing them directly or via a string of peptides. Alternatively, the activators can be recruited to the guide RNA instead. These activators recruit the cell's transcription machinery, bringing RNA polymerase and other factors to the target, and increasing transcription of that gene. The same principle applies to gene silencing. A CRAB domain fused to the Cas9 inactivates transcription by recruiting more factors that physically block.
Just think about it, right? Think about the frequencies that are hitting your body. Think about the nano in your body reacting to the frequencies that are hitting your body. Because what they can do, they can program the nano that's in your body. Everybody has it in them. They can program program the nano in your body, and then that will do whatever they want it to program via a frequency from these towers that went up, these obelisks.
The gene. A more outside-the-box idea for using CRISPR is to attach fluorescent proteins to the complex, so you can see where particular DNA sequences are found in the cell. This could be useful for things like visualizing the 3D architecture of the genome, or to paint an entire chromosome and follow its position in the nucleus. CRISPR has already changed the face of research, but these new ideas show that what's been achieved so far could just be the tip of the iceberg when it comes to CRISPR's potential.
Don't look at me.
Whatever comes.
Probably someone in my office.
That's what they'd say, isn't it? That's what they say. All the stuff going on. It's a load of useful idiots building their own prison. It's a load of useful idiots, a load of sheep, literally building their own prison. They are walking themselves to the slaughter. And they think they're academic, they think they're intelligent, etc. All that crap, when they're clearly not. Clearly not.
No bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Bullshit! You said so! It's all bullshit! I don't understand you! It's crazy! You understand?
The really big thing is hacking human beings. To hack human beings, you need a lot of biological knowledge, a lot of computing power and especially a lot of data. If you have enough data about me and enough computing power and biological knowledge, you can hack my body, my brain, my life. You can reach a point when you know me better than I know myself. And once you reach that point, and we are very close to that point, then democracy, the free market as we have, and actually all political systems, also authoritarian regimes, we have no idea what happens once you pass that point.
Yuval Harari thinks big for a living. Not so long ago, he was an obscure history professor, but his 2014 book, Sapiens, changed all that. He explored the past, cramming 150,000 years of human history into 400 pages.
Authority will shift.
Transforming himself into a literary phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again Yuval Noah Harari.
Name dropped by the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and Barack Obama.
The other book that I really enjoyed, a book by an Israeli author, Yuval Harari.
His follow-up book, Homo Deus, tackled the future, elevating Harari to a sort of digital visionary. Now he's back with his take on the present day. His new book, 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, explores the influence of algorithms on our everyday lives, how artificial intelligence will affect and maybe even replace us.
Thanks for coming to visit the lab.
And even his antidote to fake news. I met up with Yuval Harari to talk about some of today's most pressing issues at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa. I found parts of the book a little scary or daunting, particularly the parts around artificial intelligence, AI, and the way that is, probably without us thinking about it too much, sort of taking over our lives. Is it something that you think human beings should be more worried about or more conscious of?
We need to be
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
aware of the immense potential of artificial intelligence, both positive and negative potential. The most important thing to know about technology is that technology is never deterministic. Every technology opens different doors to different social and political systems. In the 20th century, we could use the technology of the Industrial Revolution, electricity and trains and radio and television, to build communist dictatorships or fascist regimes or liberal democracies. The electricity didn't tell you what to do with it.
No.
You had different options. It's the same with AI. We can use it to create paradise or hell. It's still up to us.
But there's a part of AI that you talk about in the book that this is the part that worried me, where it seems as though it is taking away our power to make decisions and choices. And I wonder, what is the impact on humans when that skill is either erased or at least eroded?
We don't know. What we do know is that we are already seeing a shift in authority from humans to algorithms. It starts with simple things like daily things, finding your way around town.
Head west, then you will arrive at your destination.
You rely less on your own knowledge and instincts. You rely more on Google Maps. And it's the same with what book to read, what TV series to watch, and so forth. But then it can go all the way to deciding what to study in university, where to work, whom to marry, whom to vote for.
I know that people are asking the question about social responsibility around AI and whether there's a way to sort of embed that in AI. So is there, I guess, is the question, and what would that do if we try to sort of mimic human behavior in a good way?
In a good way.
Yeah.
One scenario which people often don't think about is that as AI becomes better in understanding our feelings and emotions and reacting to them, we might actually become very intolerant of humans because they are less empathic than the computers and the robots. Usually the main argument against AI doctors or AI teachers is that, but I want my doctor to understand my feelings. So there are two problems with the human doctor. First of all, it's not always easy to know how the patient feels. If you're a human, you rely on all kinds of external signals, like what you say and the tone of voice and facial expression, but it's limited. And secondly, the doctor...
You got to think about people like him, right? People like Noah Harari. How does he think? How does this guy actually think? Does he believe what he's written in his book? Does he believe all the stuff he's got in his book, all these millions of years ago, and all this fucking academic shit that doesn't make sense? All these stories of when the elites were underground after the last reset they came up with. And you really got to wonder about how they think, how they actually think. Do they really believe it, or do they know what's going on? They're just LARPing. It's really interesting. Psychology. It's really interesting. I've got a really good clip to play you as well. I was talking to an archaeologist the other day, and he's talking about reactions, how we all react to a certain problem and how we shouldn't react. I'll play the voice now in a bit because it's I thought I captured it, and it makes you think, and it'll make you a better person, I think, stuff like this. Actually, do you know what? I'll play it now if my mouse works. I'll play it now, actually, okay? This is at work the other day. It's only 5 minutes. Right, I've just been speaking to an archaeologist, and I've been speaking to him for about 2 hours on site. I'm not doing much, but wow, he's just blowing me away with some knowledge, right? And talking about how we create our reality, and he's an old boy just walking past me now. He reads a lot of books, and he's an archaeologist, very interesting guy, very knowledgeable, and he's talking about how we create our reality. And we do. And he got onto the subject of what they try and do, the Cabal, etc., the evil ones, the Nephilim. What they try and do to us is they try and sow the seeds of doubt. Now, this is a very interesting subject, and this guy's just blown me away with this knowledge, man. So we create our own reality. Say you want to do something. Say you've got a positive thought in your head. So you've got that positive thought in your head, but then you'll get a little niggle in your head saying, "Oh no, maybe I can't do that. Maybe this won't happen. Maybe that won't happen. Maybe some circumstances will change in that concept." Okay, and so the point he was making was sowing the seeds of doubt is a massive thing. Because what we end up doing is we end up holding on to that feeling of doubt about that certain concept that we're trying to create through our thoughts, feelings, emotions, because we create our own reality. And I just wanted to capture this in a message now because it's just fresh in my head, but it's crazy, man. So say you want to go do something, but then your mind starts playing your mind does its little job, and it starts thinking, and you hear the voices in your head, the quiet ones going, "Oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't do that." I haven't got an answer to this, and neither is he. Well, he did have a solution, and it's about being true to yourself. I mentioned it just in the last couple of episodes. Be true to yourself. The battle in this realm isn't with anybody else. The battle is with yourself. And it's about being true to yourself. It's about sticking to your principles. It's about being a positive person and try and control your thoughts, which is very hard. But this whole concept, I want to note this now, because this whole sowing the seeds of doubt, I just thought it was really deep, and it does go deep. I'm still thinking, I'm still processing it, to be honest, but you can see what I mean about when we have a positive thought, a positive event coming up, a positive doing something for yourself, and then maybe it's the next day. Maybe you'll have a thought in your head going, "Oh, what if that happens? What if he does this? What if they go away? Maybe I shouldn't do it." That is that is sowing the seed of doubt. And this is what they do to us, because holding on to a fear of a doubt is much easier to do than holding on to the feeling of doing something positive. It's the way we've been programmed. It's the way we've been caught in this realm, being so busy as slaves in this matrix. And yeah, I just think it's just blown me away that this guy's like next level. I started talking to him earlier. He's a 60-year-old archaeologist. I was talking to him earlier, and I said, have you heard about biogeology, mate? And he's like, yeah, I have actually. I was like, oh. Right, that's it. Honestly, the boat is rocking, and we're up on like stilts. The guys keep coming around to hammering the stilts every so often. But, you know, I think that's very interesting. That's sowing the seeds of doubt. Because hope is stronger than fear, and that's what they're very afraid of. Hope, love, I do agree with that, stronger than fear. But fear is also a very easy way for us to go. Not a way that we want to go, but it's very easy for us to be manipulated to fall into that category of fear when something happens. You know what I mean? Very interesting. I thought that was interesting anyway. So, right, let's play. Let me speed the clip up before I play it. Oh no, this one. Sorry, this follows on from this clip.
Getting to peak potential. Let's get in there right now. Your competition is nobody else except yourself. Your competition is your procrastination in life, your false ego, the wounded soul, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you're neglecting, and the negative behavior you're nurturing, and mainly your lack of discernment. That's what you should be competing against. Now let's go directly into full potential. What do we always talk about? Master your breath, rise with the sun, live in your truth, practice what you preach, drink clean water, bathe naked in the sun, sleep when you're sleepy, learn something new every single day, practice discernment and use it.
Has her own emotions. Maybe she just had a big fight with her husband in the morning and she's busy reconstructing this fight and she can't really bother with you too much. But with an AI, it will never happen because the AI has no husband, has no feelings of its own.
She can't really bother with you too much, yeah? Is he German all of a sudden?
Completely attuned to you. There is the science fiction movie Her, which explores this scenario in a very interesting way.
Please wait as your operating system is initiated.
Hello, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
It reverses the kind of fear people usually have. People usually fear that the computers will not care about us. But actually, the problem might be the opposite. They will care about us so much more than the average human that we will be very intolerant of most human relationships.
Okay, now I'm worried.
Crazy, you understand?
You talk about fake news, which is something that we are talking about probably far too often.
Yeah.
Or maybe not enough. And you put the onus really on people to do a better job at trying to discern what is real and what is fake. But I wondered whether there was some way for algorithms to do a better job at putting a value on facts and truth.
Well, the main issue is really the model of the news market. People have got used to a model which says free information, free exciting information, in exchange for your attention. And attention becomes the main resource, and everybody's trying to grab your attention, and the best way to do it is with exciting fake news. And people don't realize that this free information actually costs us a lot. And we really need to change the model of the information market, and in particular of the news market. A much better model would be information, high quality information that costs you a lot of money, but doesn't abuse your attention. I mean, people are willing.
Right, I can't really watch much more of him. And he's not really talking about what I want to talk about tonight. So, yes, 45 people watching, 1% of my subscribers. But thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Do smash the like button. I don't like saying that. Just give it a little press. It would really help me out. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, S, welcome in the chat. Don't know who that is. S. This should just be the full name. No capitals in the chat as well, Robert Cole, please. Just write normally, please, mate. Also, thanks, OGB. I've got a load of energy right now. And it's because of this white powder. It's diatomaceous earth. It's really good. Whole Foods Earth Market, I think it's called Whole Foods Earth or something like that. If you're in the UK, diatomaceous earth. Honestly, it's given me so much energy because it's I think it's all the parasites in your body. It's like cutting them. It's beating them up because it's so fine and they're really crustaceans. It's making me laugh in the chat. Co-op Dog also welcome. Good to see you, brother. Thanks, John Francis, as well. And White Knight and Truly Lynn and all the others. But yeah, diatomaceous earth, it really does cut the parasites. They don't like it. Why do I have more energy? Because the parasites aren't doing their usual thing because they're being beaten up by this stuff. That's what I think. Prove me wrong. Right, we're going to get into... where is it? Let me give it one second.
Come on, don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 You said it's all bullshit.
Right, we're going to start watching Dr. James Giordano. This talk, I'm not going to play the whole talk because a lot of it's a bit boring. It's 1 hour, 10 minutes. I've sped it up a little bit, so it'll be probably about 40 minutes. Then we're going to play the presentation on bioengineering that I did with David Clues last weekend. So sit back, enjoy, and yeah, get a notepad out.
So how do we go forward? I'm going to tell you how you go forward. At least I'm going to give you the ticket. And the ticket starts right here. Cash the reality check. Nothing I have told you in this brief is science fictional. It's all science factual. Nothing that I've told you here is cultural clutter. It all represents cultural and cosmopolitan realities of the 21st century global stage in these domains of science and technology that are leverageable across a variety of others and are certainly actionable in those ways that we feel poses at least some potential risk, if not clear and present threats and dangers, to various domains of national security, intelligence, and defense. That kind of realistic insight is going to be important. Savvy to the actual...
Truly, Lynn, if it's free, then you are the product.
Science and technology as a component of not only their creation, but their sustainment in terms of the edifice and enterprise that they execute, and also being responsive to these global ethics. Ethics needs to be an inextricable part of any and all education, research, and training in these dimensions so as to be able to be operative in a realistic way on the global stage of the 21st century.
Oh, sorry guys, wrong clip. I was getting all comfortable. Wait there 1 second. That was not the right one. Although that's very similar. Where is it? Let's play a little kid that went to see Jimmy Savile one time.
And I'm Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kind of glad I never got that girl.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to today's MWI speaker event with Dr. James Giordano. Dr. Giordano is a professor in the Department of Neurology and Biochemistry, chief of the Neuroethics Studies Program of the Pellegrino Center for Clinic Bioethics, and co-director of the O'Neill Pellegrino Program in Brain Science and Global Health Law and Policy at Georgetown University Medical Center. As well, Dr. Giordano currently serves as an appointed member of the United States Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Advisory Council on Human Research Protections. He is a researcher and task leader of the European Union Human Brain Project and has served as an appointed member of the Neuroethics Legal and Social Issues Advisory Panel of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, and Senior Advisory Fellow of the Strategic Multilayer Assessment Branch of the Joint Staff of the Pentagon. It's quite a bit. In his spare time, he has authored over 260 publications in neuroscience and neuroethics, 7 books, and 13 government white papers on neurotechnology, ethics, and biosecurity, and is an editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Philosophy, Ethics, and Humanities in Medicine. Dr. Giordano, thank you for joining us today.
No, don't applaud now.
Right. This guy, I'd love to know his bloodline, but this guy's in control of everything neuropathic at DARPA. Oh my God, my mouse is doing my head in, honestly. It's fine, Robert Cole, don't worry about it. I just don't like it in the chat. It's too in your face, the capitals, that's all. David Clues is the same, actually. He shouts at people. He shouts at people when people do caps lock. I'm just being nice about it. So, anyway, Dr. James D. Giordano. Bloodline, I'd love to know that. Very interesting. And like I said before, he's head of the IEEE. That's the Brain Project. I was on Amazon the other week, and there's a router with IEEE on the router. So what's that router doing to your brain? What frequencies is it putting out? And what's it doing to the nano in your body? How's it making you think? Is it a benefit to you? Is it safe and effective?
Wait till the end because the performance pressure is much too severe if you do that. And my thought is you're probably not going to applaud at the end, but what I'm going to hear is the slamming shut of your sphincters with fear. That's good. That's been successful. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a real honor to be here. Is Cadet Yoshi in the audience? Hello. No PDAs, but I do want you to come up and say hello. Your mother says hello. Everybody has a mother, and I know hers. So what we're here to talk about today is the fact that the brain is and will be the 21st century battlescape in many ways. End of story. We could stop it there, and I could let you go back to your respective units and think about that for a while, but I'm here to tell you absolutely, as much as there's a big old Tyrolean nose on this face, that you will encounter some form of neurocognitive science that has been weaponized not only in your military career, but in your personal and professional lives, irrespective of whether those two things coincide or not. So the idea of the brain as the battlescape is very important, and more importantly is this other acronym that's up there, which is WMD squared. Please get used to this because this is going to be part of the idea of irregular warfare and ongoing military innovation in your careers. Weapons of mass destruction and disruption. Disruption and influence will be the key to creating peer capabilities and asymmetrical engagements. Let me say it again. It will be the key to creating peer capability and asymmetrical relations and engagements. If we talk about what brain science is, let me just give you a little bit of brief background on this field that is now called neuroscience. As a titular field, as a named field, neuroscience has only been in existence for 40 years. I know that because I've been a neuroscientist for about 38 of those 40 years. When I first applied to get into a program in neuroscience, there were only 4 neuroscience programs in the continental United States. 4. Right now, at this particular point, there are well over 200 dedicated university and collegiate programs.
It's like what I said before about, he's talking about, just a second, mouse problems. The wind is howling, absolutely howling. Like, I'm going to have to go tie down the top again in a minute, but I've nearly lost my thread. Too many things going through my head. ZYX, welcome. S Arrogance, welcome. Julia, everybody welcome in the chat. Do you know what? Let me just play the video. It'll come back to me.
Programs at the junior college level, several programs at the high school level, and many, many dozens of independent think tanks and philanthropic organizations solely devoted to brain sciences. That's just here in the United States. Furthermore, what becomes critically important for you to understand is that brain science is not just a United States enterprise or effort, nor is it singularly an effort of the United States allies worldwide. Increasingly, it is becoming an international, multinational, global, and independently exercised event and endeavor, which increases the capability of the brain sciences to develop not only new theories, but ever more sophisticated tools. I like this slide a lot because what it presents for you, ladies and gentlemen, is a century-long history of brain science, even before it was called neuroscience. Look, let's face it, for as long as human beings were looking in some reflective pool and recognized that the thing looking back at them was themselves, there was some interest in what makes me me, what makes me think, what makes me feel, what makes me behave the way I do and you behave and think the way you do. What is my sense of self? Do I have free will, and what is the nature of that? And how can we affect it in a variety of ways that go from the non-kinetic all the way to the kinetic? If we take centenary jumps into the era of the Enlightenment, we can see the great thinkers that came before and during the Enlightenment, inclusive but not limited to people like René Descartes, pondered the idea of what that means. Cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. The inverse of the statement that in many cases was implicit but now becomes ever more explicit is what makes me think.
I'm just putting this video in here, the hybrid babies, okay, because this whole black-eyed babies thing, I watched a video on BitChute the other day. Welcome, Donna Johnson, also. Yeah. Well, welcome, Abby. How you doing? Good to see you. But yeah, this whole hybrid baby thing, these babies like 2 days old, they're holding their head up. Keep watching the video in the corner. I can make it a little bit bigger, actually, if my mouse is working. We have got mouse. 51 people watching. That's amazing. Thanks, everybody, tuning in. Do give it a like and a share if you like, guys. Oh my, I'm having mouse issues, and the wind is howling on the boat. Like, we're expecting 60-mile-an-hour winds today. I think it's about 45 mile an hour right now. So I'm surprised the internet's even keeping up, but yeah. So 53 people watching. Please do give it a like, guys. Really helps me out. And these babies in the corner just, oh, finished. There we go. It was actually different videos after, but when you're watching this video, think about what this guy's saying and think about the youth that are being, 58 people watching, God. High numbers today. Brilliant. But yeah, you got to think about the way these kids are being brought up, and we all know about it. London McLovin, welcome also. Good to see everybody today. All right, we continue with Dr. James Giordano talking about the brain and the brain project. He's the head of the brain project, and I was on Amazon the other day. On a router, the brain project is labeled on the routers now. So have a look at your router. So tell me if you see IEEE on it.
And if I can understand what makes me think, and makes you think, and makes you feel, then that understanding may in fact flavor, if not directly influence, the way you and I interact. But more than that, if in fact I understand how it is that your brain does what your brain does, I may be able to access your brain and affect your brain, indirectly and directly. And what this allows us to do is to create tremendous potential and possibility and probability, potential, possibility, and probability of what the brain sciences can do and will do. Remember these three letters, A, and A. Keep them as your viable mantra for the duration of this course, today, and throughout your professional careers and each and all of the opportunities that you have to interface and try to understand the power that the brain and cognitive sciences can yield. A, the ability to assess the brain and its functions. A, the ability to access the brain on a variety of levels, from the subcellular all the way to the social. And A, the ability to affect the brains and the individuals in which those brains are embodied and the ecologies in which those individuals enact, engage, encounter, and the level of the individual.
I'm just going to skip forward a little bit because I don't like the screen up. He does talk and move around. It's a bit boring. I don't want to. Yeah, here we go. This is an interesting bit.
Throughout this lecture, to drive home this point with regard to these capabilities, because each and all have gravitas importance and operational leverageability. That said, what are these techniques and technologies that have rendered this capability and, if you will, geopolitical, military, and social power? Well, I have them here before you. Generalization, we could parse them down into two discrete domains. First, the assessment neurotechnologies that do exactly as the name would imply. They are based upon various tools that we can use to assess those structures and functions of the brain that may be involved in those processes of cognition, emotion, and behaviors. Humans are and ever more relevant to what's making you tick, what's making you talk, what's making you strong, and what's making you vulnerable. And the fact that other nations, inclusive of China and Russia, are engaging in large-scale neuro-big data initiatives to be able to create large-scale databases that can join not only imaging and physiological, but as well as other forms of phenotypic and genetic data of the entirety of populations, renders great power because there's great capability in that information to know where key points of strength and vulnerability may lie, and also to intercede, to inject information in some way be able to affect what appears to be your medical record, your personal record, the evidence that is you. And we can take that step to go one step further. The more I know about you and the more I know about the way your brain works as individuals, groups, communities, and even populations, the more I can utilize non-kinetic means such as informational means of narratives, iconographies, semiotics to influence your emotions and your behaviors. We can do this subliminally through computer images. We can do this more liminally through the types of engagements, interactions that we engage through psychological operations and informational operations. We can train better.
What you just said there, we can engage, we can make you think a certain way through psychological operations. And it's exactly what I've been saying before about, yeah, Gary Carter, good. Check him out. Big shout out to Wim as well. I was chatting to him. Wim watched my Parasite theory presentation. He said he watched it twice, so big up to him. Thanks a lot, mate. It means a lot to me. He said it was really deep, so it was good. So yeah, it was. I mean, who else is talking about this sort of shit? Like I'm talking about it, like linking everything together. I talk about a range of subjects, an absolute everything almost, and OGB good. But yeah, it's yeah, we just gotta keep fighting and keep going. But what he's talking about, there's some really wild information in this speech here.
For our human terrain teams to be able to interact with individuals in a variety of cultures, groups, settings, and ecologies, to be able to improve their performance so as to be less distancing and more ameliorating. We can go further than that as well. We can also utilize these interventional technologies in those ways that may able to directly affect the brain. Probably the one that you've heard about most recently, most contemporaneously in the literature, is the possibility to use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of the brain. Case in point here.
Sorry, I have to comment again on that. I'm going to play that a little bit again, that last few seconds of what he just said. My computer is
know about the way your brain works as individuals, groups, communities, and even populations, the more I can utilize non-kinetic means, such as informational means of narratives, iconographies, semiotics, to influence your emotions and your behaviors. We can do this subliminally through computer images. We can do this more liminally through the types of engagements, interactions that we engage through psychological operations and informational operations. We can train better our human terrain teams to be able to interact with individuals in a variety of cultures, groups, settings, and ecologies to be able to improve their performance so as to be less distancing and more ameliorating. We can go further than that as well. We can also utilize these interventional technologies in those ways that may able to directly affect the brain.
He's talking about sending frequencies to your brain. Remember what I said before about why when you go on eBay or Amazon or whatever marketplace shop, you see things that you were thinking about now. It used to be they'd listen. All the apps listen. All of them don't have TikTok. I don't know. I don't understand anybody that uses TikTok either, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, it's like now we're seeing. Even I've had it a couple of times where I've gone online and I see something that I was kind of thinking about. Listen to what he says.
Probably the one that you've heard about most recently, most contemporaneously in the literature, is the possibility to use some form of directed energy to affect physiology peripherally and also to affect the physiology and health of the brain.
He's going to use frequencies to affect the physiology, your physiology. I think it's through nano acting from the frequencies inside your body and doing what it has to do. Also, it's going to affect your brain physiology. Wow.
Case in point here, U.S. Embassy personnel in Havana and possibly...
He's quite arrogant as well. This guy is quite... you can hear the way he talks, like, he's very... What's the word? Entitled, I think there's the right word.
In China. And of course, there's not a lot that I can tell you about that, although I am one of the researchers on that particular project. But this seems to be wholly indicative and supportive of the fact that this was at least some form of directed energy, whether it was wholly intentional or not, still remains to be definitively decided. However, the pattern of insult and injury to those individuals and the pattern of injury of who was affected strongly suggests that this was an intentional and directed engagement, and that this represents a beta test, a possible probe of a directed energy neuroweapon.
A probe of the directed energy neuroweapon. Oh my God, guys, seriously, you should hear the wind. I don't know if you can, you probably can't hear it on the mic, but it's like, it's like being in a paraglider.
And there are a number of countries that had developed initiatives and agenda towards developing just these types of things, the United States included. But you also have a whole host of other things that can go bump and bang in your brain. The more we understand the specificity of the brain on a very granular level, the more we're able to derive and develop particular types of drugs that not only can enhance and optimize the performance of our people, but can also be used to mitigate, militate, and in some cases manifest profound morbid changes in their people. In other words, against a hostile other. Drugs can be exceedingly specific, and as I'll show you in a moment, can be very, very much used to individualize weaponology in terms of what we call precision pathology or precision effect. We can go further. Clearly, one of the things we can also do is transcranial neuromodulation, the idea of going through the skull to modulate the node and network activity of the brain to optimize the performance of key individuals.
Is he talking about voice to skull right there? Is he talking about voice to skull? Talking about going through the transcranium, which is, I think, at the front of the head, the cranium. Is he talking about going through your skull with frequencies to... What's he talking about doing? Having mouse issues still.
In certain tasks and performances that are relatively to their missional space. And we can also do that against hostile or perhaps belligerent others. We can go further to implant certain brain-machine interfaces. These are many of the DARPA programs that you may hear of now. Probably the one that is most notorious, in a very good sense, is something called the N3 program, which is the non-invasive neurosurgical neuromodulation program being run by their program manager, Dr. Al Mundy. The idea here is to put minimal-sized electrodes in a network within a brain through only minimal intervention to be able to read and write into the brain function in real time, remotely. The United States is not alone in such.
That's what he's talking about. They're talking about accessing your brain. He's talking about accessing your brain. That's what he's saying. That's what he's boasting about it.
Efforts. And then, of course, you also have the things that are a little bit more traditional. If we talk about things that can be operable in the biochemical space, we ordinarily talk about drugs, bugs, toxins, and ever more, we're considering devices. At the last Biological Toxins and Weapons, which is the non-invasive neurosurgical neuromodulation program.
Did he say bugs? He's talking about parasites, listen.
The idea here is to put minimal-sized electrodes in a network within a brain through only minimal intervention to be able to read and write into the brain function in real time, remotely. The United States is not alone in such efforts. And then, of course, you also have the things that are a little bit more traditional. If we talk about things that can be operable in the biochemical space, we ordinarily talk about drugs.
Biochemical space. So he's talking about the organic chemical space. What is that?
Bugs, toxins, and ever more.
Bugs and toxins. Parasites and toxins. Parasites and heavy metals. That's what he's talking about. But he's just used different words.
We're considering devices. At the last Biological Toxins and Weapons Convention, the RevCon, it was then raised by the Australia group that we need to be a little bit more salient in our attention to those possible neurotechnological devices that may be able to be weaponized.
The word neurotechnical should not be in our vocabulary. Should not be in our vocabulary, period. The word neurotechnical, neuroethics. He's the head of neuroethics. Neuroethics. Just shouldn't be doing this stuff at all. At all.
Our group has also argued that the current considerations and extant categories of the Biological Toxins and Weapons Conventions are not detailed enough to be able to appreciate or keep pace with the advances in this form of science that can be weaponized that poses a risk and threat on the battle space. So, how then can we use these elements as weapons, means of contending against others? Formal definition of a weapon, right out of the Oxford Old English Dictionary. Means of contending against others. And we can do that in a number of ways. We can militate their behaviors and their thoughts in some ways as to make them more amenable to what we do, the idea of positive weaponology. Or we can, in fact, mitigate, and in some
Did he just say positive weaponology? He just said positive weaponology, didn't he? He said that, didn't he?
cases completely nullify their capability, will, or engagement to fight. If we combine those two definitions into one, what we find is those agents that will either change individuals' thoughts, vulnerabilities, volatility to violence and aggression, or incur morbidity, dysfunction, and or mortality in such a way as to then mitigate the engagement altogether. You still with me? That said, we can break down any form of weaponology into two discrete categories: soft weapons and hard weapons.
Soft weapons and hard weapons. What's the difference? They're just weapons. This guy's crazy, man. I've not actually listened to the whole speech before. Yeah, he's a parasite, exactly, Audrey. He's a total parasite. Total. Wigsy, welcome also. I don't know who you, Wacky, I don't know who you're talking about either. Sorry, but the boat is like actually like I need to go check the things in a bit because I don't want the boat to blow over. It's super windy today. Like even I look at windy.com. I was tempted to show you guys. If you go on windy.com, right? It's a website. I use it for wind, for sailing and stuff. But go in the UK, go down to Cornwall. It's where where a theory of an island being off island, an ancient island. They said it was part of Atlantis, but it's not. But in that space, I think it's about 100 miles off the Cornish coast, southwest. They're just hitting this spot all the time, right? And it's like a big cyclone. Oh my God, seriously. It's really wild, really wild. It is like being in a Bond movie, Audrey B. It is exactly like being in a fucking Bond movie. It's like being in do you know what? But yeah, from what I'm seeing from the wind, because I check it all the time, they're just building this storm up off the southwest coast of Cornwall, about 150 miles off the coast, I think, below island off the coast of Cornwall, and they're just hitting the spot, and it's coming at Cornwall up to Sussex, which is just past me, to like Brighton area, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. More viewers watching. I think there's going to be a tsunami soon as well. If you want to find out more about the tsunami, go back earlier in the episode. Yeah, very interesting out there theory, and I think it's viable. You know, they say they need another. I'm not saying it. The month of November, put the number, and the month of October. October and November. No. October, what the fuck, Rob? September's at 8. No. September and November, add the numbers together. They're trying to create another one of these events, and this tsunami would be one of them. Think about it. Imagine a tsunami hitting, just even the media uproar about it. You know, the state of Britain. Imagine the south coast of Britain if a tsunami did hit Britain. La Palma, Gary Carter, exactly. La Palma. I do have an episode in my videos, maybe on my lives and my videos. Go to La Palma and Gold. It's right down the bottom. I did it about over a year ago, I think it was. But honestly, I think they want something big, and it coincides with this book of Revelations, this script that they seem to be following with all these events. It's also safe and effective.
Former categorization, soft weapons include but are not limited to such things like economic leveraging to create economics, market values, market presence at international bargaining tables to develop international power and leverage as a soft weapon. Clearly, the more we're able to make an impact in a field, in a dimension, by virtue of research, medicine, technology, infiltration into a variety of areas of the public space, the more we're able to yield economic strong-arming, economic leveraging. I think an important consideration that I'll reiterate later in this particular lecture is that there are countries outside the United States and or the West that are increasing their capabilities by intent in the brain sciences so as...
Just look at what he's got on screen there, right? Look, have you read, I've just read it. Have you actually read the terminology that's on screen right now? It's a bit nuts, isn't it? Like, they're literally talking about hacking us. They're literally talking about what they're trying to do to us. It's not beneficial to any human on this planet. Why are we called humans? I'm trying to find my music clip and I can't fucking find it. I wish you could see my screen sometimes. But yeah, why do they call us humans? Because human in a dictionary means monster, doesn't it? So what's that all about?
To be able to gain this type of economic leveraging in international global markets, in medicine, science, technology, and the military. Most notably among them is China. We'll talk more about that momentarily. But we can also utilize weapons in more of a soft approach, as I mentioned earlier. The more I know about what makes you tick, the more I might be able to do things like weaponize the approach that I then take towards you in my interactions and engagements with you. Here we can utilize the brain sciences for psychological operations. Most notably, one of the DARPA programs run by the program manager Bill Casebeer, Dr. Bill Casebeer, who subsequently went on to be a program manager at Lockheed Martin and run their brain-machine interfacing programs. Bill Casebeer's program was called Narrative Networks. And one component of the Narrative Networks project was something called neural narratives. If we understand how it is that brains and individuals, groups, and populations respond to certain forms of imaging, memes, iconographies, engagements, the more we may be able to tailor those things through our psychological operations, propaganda, meso, to be able to engage these individuals in more positive ways or in ways that are more influential, to be able to direct their behaviors, their predispositions, and perhaps their engagements with us on a variety of levels, from the individual all the way up to the political. But then, of course, we move into the more hard things such as bullets and bombs. And here, once again, let me reiterate what we're talking about on the neuro side are drugs, bugs, toxins, and devices. But of course, if we spill over the idea of soft weaponology into a hard weaponization, we also see the use of biodata as a viable weapon. Manipulating biodata so that I can then put into your particular medical records subtle information that may change the disposition of whether you're sick or not, change how you're treated, influence the postures that go to you in terms of insurance, care, viability for military service. By altering that information, by changing.
Guys, I'm just going to show you windy.com because I've actually got it set up here now. So I'm just going to quickly just while we're on that topic, because it's windy, it's stormy, it's nuts down here. It's really nuts. It's howling the wind. But right, I'm just going to show you here, okay? This is right now, Thursday. That's my other controls. Put this screen. There we go. This is right now, and you can see the purple bit. Right, they keep hitting this spot here, right? Oh, wait there. You can see me now. So too many controls there. So you can see here. I'm just going to skip forward a bit. It's tonight, tomorrow, and they keep harnessing it out here also, like out here. And if you go further south, it's honestly, guys, it's so windy. All I can hear is things banging on the boat above my head. It's quite off-putting, and they keep hitting this spot here where the cursor is, where the hand is, and especially this point here where the hand is here, right? So we'll skip forward a bit, and you'll see them building it up again. Or earlier today, it was out where the hand is. See here? So like this area here, they keep hitting this spot, I think, with energy. I'm not going to go into it. You know, we all know what I'm talking about. And they keep harnessing this storm, and it just keeps coming up south and hitting the south coast. It's like this all weekend, pretty much till Sunday, or Saturday, Sunday. See that spot again here? This spot here, it was more towards France the other day, but it's always a spot off this corner, just on the Atlantic, and they just whip it up, and it brings all this wet weather straight off the Atlantic up to soak our land. Is there going to be a tsunami, I wonder? Back to James Giordano.
Those data. By purloining those data, I essentially changed the you of you. And I can do that in very subtle and insidious ways. Furthermore, I can do that on a variety of different levels that can affect key individuals so that, in fact, your medical record changes to thereby render you incapable or at least invalid to be able to serve in a way you're serving. Or I can do that on a much larger scale, groups, populations. And if I change those data, I change the way you're being regarded and treated. And I can do that in one of two ways. I can do it in such a way that you're going to be regarded in a negative sense, or I can do that in such a way that I'm going to treat you incorrectly. If I say, for example, you have a particular allergy, or you have particular sensitivities, or you have a particular disorder, you will be treated for that, and that could then harm your health and your stability in both a short wars approach as well as a long wars approach. But if we take a look at this in a little more detail, you can see that once again it falls back to the idea of what can we do to ours and what can be done to others. Clearly, One dimension, one domain of operational viability and value is to enhance the capabilities of the combat and intelligence operator across a range of scalabilities in both general purpose and more select forces. And this is the idea of neuro-enablement. Neuro-enablement. You will hear this referred to in a
Crazy, you understand?
performance optimization, enhancement, enablement, maximization. These terms mean something. A number of years ago, our group was tasked from the Air Force to develop a lexicon, a nomenclature that would be able to define these in more precise ways. I'll not bore you with that now. But the idea of enablement gives forth, I think, a particular meaning that's relevant. You're enabling individuals to do some aspects of a performance of a task that is germane and justified to their operational mission and that is, in fact, done with regard to protection of their charges. So in other words, we're saying, we're going to make you good to go, and we've decided that this is good. The reason this can become problematic, of course...
It's like what I was saying, honestly, guys. I'm going to I might cut this short, this clip, because it's quite long-winded, and we've got enough information from what I've talked about. Because I've got to sort of finish by 6 o'clock, because I've got to go to London in the morning, and I've got things to do as well. But I've got the presentation from last week, the bioengineering one, which is going to be good. Big up to Wim as well. Honestly, mate, if you want to talk to Wim, guys, do comment in the chat, because Wim will probably watch this episode. His work has really inspired all of us, especially me. I think this huge Earth theory, this huge Earth that we're not told about, and the infection through the Ben Stone, it makes sense, man. The Ark of the Covenant being moved. There's so many theories out there, but we always keep an open mind. That's the most important thing, to have an open mind. And yeah.
Sneaky little hobbitses.
They are, aren't they? Right, so we're going to play... I've got one more video actually to play here. One sec, guys. So what else we got here? Let me play this clip, because there's more people watching now. This clip, again, I'll play because I think it's so important. It's so important. And I want to find... Yeah, that one. That's the one. And one more. Before I do it, do you want to hear one of the... one more time.
And Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kinda glad I never got that girl.
Oh, it's bad, isn't it? It's so bad. Right, let's get into the presentation. I'm going to play it and just leave it running. I'm not going to comment too much, okay? But I hope everyone's... there's still about an hour and 15 minutes to go. Then we'll finish up shop. Well, we finish about 6:30, say. So, yeah. Right. Let's do it. One more video. This was an important one because it's quite out there. This is what they want. And we are going to be a problem for a lot. There's going to be many problems if... Depends what happens with AI. It depends what happens with AI. It's not even AI. It's technical intelligence. I'm not saying it's sentient, but it's technical. It's not artificial. They invert everything. What was the other thing? Oh, yeah, China. I want to talk about China for a little bit before we... China. Because all the stuff about like Russia, China, and it's... I think China are not half as bad as what they are made out to be from our media. That's what I wanted to say about that. So don't fear anything and don't react. On that note, David Clues, big up to David. I am going to be on Unity News again on Sunday night as well. Sunday night on Unity News, probably about 8 o'clock. Where is the clip now? Brilliant. I can't find a clip.
The legend, and I'm sure he's got a lot to say, and we've got over 1,000 viewers watching live. They've all tuned in to hear this man tonight with his pirate flag behind him. What are you? Yeah. Is that? I hope.
Do hit the like button, please, guys. It does help me out. Thank you.
That's a pirate flag and not an SS flag you've got, Rob.
the SS one's on the back of the boat.
Now I'm definitely going to get into trouble because they're out to kill me now, Rob, because I'm calling out the Kate psyops. So they're going to kill me.
I'm just going to check my mics on the right mic.
All fine.
Yeah.
All fine.
Yeah, cool.
All fine.
Yeah, How we doing, David? How we doing, everybody in the chat? I think the reason you got so many viewers is on because I advertised your show quite a lot last night, David. No, but no, it's going to be good. But yeah, the Kate thing, like you, it's like, I think Thinking Slow talks about that 5-second reaction, and we all have to train ourselves to, it's not even 5 seconds. It's like you look at a video and you look at it once or twice, and you can clearly, it immediately takes you to what you think it is. But when you look at it again and again, then you see that it's not real. I fell for it too, and then maybe the third time I saw it, then I
the Kate
saw
one.
the background. Yeah, it's where the background doesn't move. That's not right.
Yeah, it does take you a while. Like that's where, as I said, I was driving last night. I never fully saw it, but see once you actually, this is why I can't really do work on a mobile. I really have to kind of do it with a desktop in front of me. And again, that's the regime knows what is going on. That people just glance at a phone, whereas I'm sitting staring at that big screen all day, not all day, but and I'm sparking over it, and like the work that you've done, Rob, and one of the things that you've really opened up to me, and again, it is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, is the trans inversion that exists amongst the I mean, I played the clip of Lauren Sanchez, Jeff, the second, well, maybe second, third, what I don't know, richest man in the world, and his new girlfriend is like, it's clearly a man.
Oh, was that Bezos? Jeff Bezos? Yeah. Yes. It's disturbing as well, like the way my mum always says about American women. American women have got very big mouths. They've got lots of teeth. And it's true. It is actually quite true. It's quite weird. It makes me think that these orphan trains back in the 1850s, I think it's the type of human that they brought to America, and they changed something that's interesting. But look at it's plastic, isn't it? It's yeah, disturbing, man. Hybrid.
I mean, or it's a woman that had too much surgery, but I don't see the jawline of a woman. I and the shoulders. I see a man there who has
wide face.
Yeah, well, that's like a man's face, and with fake breasts, and yeah, it looks kind of like yeah. I mean, it looks and. I think as well, like this is the one thing that's kind of woken me up, is don't be naive to these people, and that's where like I now I'm it's not my first rodeo. I'm not being naive, and like the Kate clip fundamentally, Rob, is a clear deep fake. It's not. I don't think it's even open for debate that it's a deep fake. It's clearly an AI generated image. So. I mean, where do you think she's dead, Rob?
It's so interesting, isn't it? And it's like a few days ago, I thought about this Kate thing and how before this video came out yesterday, a few days ago, I thought they're drawing everybody in, they're drawing all the attention into Kate, and there's a reason for that. This gaslight and it's mockery, but it's also like I thought to myself a few days ago, I thought now they're gonna say that Kate's got something to make us feel really bad about it, and that's kind of what they've done. But again, like I think they're pretty much obviously in panic mode, because like this stuff is just weird, man. Even the number 10 videos of these tanks in Russia and the James Bond music, stuff like that, it's weird, strange. But the Kate thing, it links to Jacob Rothschild, and it makes me think about was Kate actually one of their children, and is she dead? Is Kate and Jacob actually dead? Strange.
And the guy taught, like, here's the thing is as well, like the guy Thomas Kingston killing himself, Thomas Kingston, the son-in-law of Prince Michael of Kent, who went out with Pippa Middleton, and he's found with a traumatic head wound via a shotgun. Like, I keep pointing this out. People might think that we are crazy. I'm throwing this out there that we're only scratching the surface of how these people live and how these people behave, and the culture that they are brought up in. And then, Rob, you had all this stuff in Russia. This looks like a mass terror attack.
It's strange
happening.
again. At first glance, I saw the military. They seem to be well kitted in military, like private mercenaries. Like there's a company called Blackwater. Very interesting, actually. You know Blackwater, right?
Yeah.
And it's like this. It's funny because it's like these private security companies, like Blackwater's the biggest one. A lot of ex-military, ex-Marines go and work there. They get touted.
It's funny how they're all called Blackwater, Blackstone, isn't it? They've all got black in their name. It's Black Rock, yeah.
Yeah, it's even like the North Pole, the ancient there's a mountain, ancient sacred mountain called Rupas Negra. Rupas in Spanish is mountain, Negra is black in Spanish. Black mountain, black rock, and it's like this. It's strange, but like going back to Blackwater, the way I see it is, I think like a lot of these, like Moscow, right? Perfect example, actually. Maybe I can't be sure about it, but. It's like the US military or the defectors in there will send the private security companies in to go and disrupt a country, and then the US military will have an excuse to go and save the day and to win hearts and minds. And the way the British do it, it's a crazy time to be alive. And I was saying this last night in my show. It is, and it's something what we're living through right now will be talked about forever. Unless
I mean that's the thing. I'm not being over dramatic or sensationalist to say this, but see the Kate Middleton stuff. It's crazy. I've never. I mean, I've been sperging now for 6 years online looking at stuff. I've never seen anything as crazy as this. That's also. I mean, I've seen stuff that have built up a headwind, but then like a video will come out, or something will happen, or something will de-escalate, and then it chills down. Whereas this one just keeps running and running and running, and like with the Russia stuff, I mean I don't know if you saw it as well, but Patrick Henningsen and Macron said it, has talked about it, that there are NATO troops on the way to Ukraine.
I think they're already there, mate. I think that I heard of the British, or there's some of the British. Not the Marines, the British commandos are on the ground directing airstrikes. I think the commandos will go on the ground and they'll crawl and they'll do laser targeting.
Yes,
to target.
They won't fire the weapon themselves, but they do all the targeting and they arrange all the. Yeah, that's right.
Intelligence, British for sure. The way I think the British Army is more about intelligence. The American military, the satanic element, is the muscle in the military world, like the vehicles and the technology and the missiles, etc.
It's like see the one for me that stood out as well. It was when Sunak did that really weird speech outside the streets of 10 Downing Street. It struck me as being really weird. It struck me as, well, why does he need to do it? This is where again we start speculating that that there is something bigger going on. And I think yesterday was a very pivotal day. You had this terrorist incident in Moscow. I think they're saying about 130, 140 dead. You had the Kate Middleton thing, and it is just this feeling we are building up to something. And then, Rob, have you been following the Red Heifer story as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's no, definitely. I read a post on Twitter the other day about it, and yeah, it's interesting. It's like they say that's why Trump's here, isn't he? Trump's here to issue in the third temple, so that links to Trump. I think something about the third temple of Solomon. I read that a while ago, but it's interesting. Even the thing in Moscow. It looks like that. I think it was a message from Israel. Think about ISIS, Israel Security Intelligence Services, ISIS, and I to me it looked like a message from Israel, and they were trying to get back to Ukraine. But even the way Putin said that the 4 suspects have been apprehended, what they just lay down their guns and they just stick them in? Would they not keep fighting? Doesn't make sense. Again.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it is. It is. There's quite a lot of oddness about the whole situation. I think it's fair to say that there's and that this is again the kind of difficulty for me now. Like when I first started UNN, I could come on and say, look, this is what's happened. These are the people responsible for it. This is why. Whereas now, and I'm a bit like, well, actually, it could be all these things. It could be and see with the AI and the fake news and like Operation Bluebeam, like a lot of people talk about that. Something could happen, like Jesus returning. For example, Jesus will appear in the clouds, and it's fake. It's Operation Bluebeam.
Have you seen the videos already of Jesus?
Yeah, I mean they're incredible.
There's quite a few. It's funny because it's actually what was it called again? Operation Fire Sign. Anybody can Google it. Operation Fire Sign. You should. It's actually quite interesting, David. But it's a technology where they use the ionosphere, and this is links to what they spray all the metal in the air. And they use the metal in the air as a kind of like a artist's whiteboard to sort of draw on in a way, and they can bounce the signal from a satellite onto the ionosphere and then make images with other lasers. It's nuts, the technology they've got. But
yeah, that's the other thing is as well, and it is important for people to understand that the military and the powers that be have powers that are totally advanced to anything that we have, right? Like, don't be so naive. And this is the other thing that really gets me is like the amount of people that are like, oh, well, I had to wait a few weeks to get my cancer back. How stupid are you? Are people that think that Kate Middleton's just like, because Kate Middleton was once pictured shopping in Asda, like, oh, she goes to the shops. How do people fall for that garbage?
Crazy. It's programming. It's programming as well.
Rob, we'll get into your presentation in a few minutes. Right. I'm enjoying this because we've got huge numbers over on Rumble. We've got 580 on Rumble. Please smash the thumbs up button there and get that shared. When did you start twigging that there was something really wrong, Rob? Because just for people who don't know, Rob's on his boat now in an undisclosed location.
Yeah. So I live on a pirate. I've got an old. I'm actually taking the paint off. It's a wooden boat. It was still.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
It's built in 1938. It was stolen from Denmark by a British Royal Navy captain called Captain Richard E. Dunn. I've got the paperwork. It's just here actually. But yeah, and I was taking it. It's a wooden boat, very heavy, 13 tons. I was taking the paint off it, and see the wood, David. Taking the paint off the side of the boat, and I'm sanding it today. See the wood? I think I'm going to epoxy it, so there's no paint on the boat, and it's all wood, like all epoxied in. It looks beautiful. But but pretty much, I was asleep. Started waking up locally to local domestic politics, like 20. So right around Brexit time, Brexit was a sort of little starter. Then it was, but then not on a awake level. That happened end of 2019. As soon as the guy started falling down in China, I started looking into Alex Jones, the towers that were going up, and then it was like, I think I had 7 weeks off work, and honestly, mate, it was the best 7 weeks the government ever gave me. I got up every day 6 a.m. and I sat on my computer for about 18 hours every day, just watching Fall of the Cabal, like learning, soaking in all this information. Even after 6 months, people used to say, "How long have you been awake?" It's like 6 months, and they're like, "George."
But the thing that's been amazed me is the amount of people who said they were awake or were for free speech, and they're not. They're clearly not for free speech, and they're clearly not awake in any way, shape, or form. And yeah, I mean, I would love to go sailing. I just couldn't do it because of all the innuendos. I would just be full on Captain Pugwash.
We could go have a race with Brian Gerrish. He's got a yacht, hasn't he?
Brian, well, if Brian Gerrish is on a yacht, I think we would need to invest in some perhaps some more some modifications to the good ship, Rob. You know, maybe some.
Estimate 20 minutes. Everything must be destroyed before they reach the lagoon. Ready to dive.
Aye, sir. Diving.
Torpedo launching bay and things like that, or cannons, because you know when everything collapses and it's us vying for, I mean, you for supremacy with UK column, I think we'll need to act fast and destroy them before they can. We can't let Garish take the victory there. The Ark, that's what it is. It's the UNN Ark.
Yeah, no, that's good. I've got a lot of work to do, but it's looking good as well. But yeah, so I'm gonna start. I am gonna start a YouTube channel, because one thing I have noticed about YouTube, about my channel, the last 3 videos since I started talking about parasites, actually, I usually get like 800 views, maybe 1,000 on some, after a week or two. And after the last three last videos, only getting 300 views now.
Yeah.
So they're cranking up the algorithms. I notice it. Even I was editing a video today. The links in the description, if I want the link to be clickable, they want to verify you. And it's asked me for this a few times now. They want me to give them a passport or do a video. I won't do it. I'm never going to do it. So, but they're cranking it up now. It's so windy, honestly. Welcome, BRX. How you doing? I'm going to show you. I've actually got a photo of what I've been doing to the boat. 'Cause I want to show you, because I've never showed you about how beautiful the wood is. Right, it's beautiful. Let me get the photo. It's so I've been taking the paint off it, right, with a heat gun. I've nearly done one side of the boat now. I'll just get the photo. Here we go. So this is it used to be blue, but I never liked the blue paint personally. So I've taken the paint off, and look how gorgeous it is. When I put one coat of varnish on just to test it, just to see what it looks like. So it's large. It's 86 years old, this boat. 86-year-old, and the detail in the wood is just beautiful. That's not even fully tidied up either, but so that's what I'm going to do. So no way on earth is paint going back on this boat. It's going to be, I might even epoxy the whole boat so she's set for good, or definitely varnish her though, but one or the other. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Back to the show. And it's like kettling. It's like what the reason that you're on DLive and Rumble, and it's like, you know, do I set up a website and get like 7 people watching my stream? It's not really doing anything. So it's a case for me personally. I think it's a case of just keeping my channel hanging in there, like with no strikes, and just keep trying to make it through this. I don't know. We'll see.
No, brilliant, yeah. Rob, you start away with your presentation.
Yep, I'm just
gonna clip and play something. So you start away, and I'll join you in 2 minutes. All right?
Yep, sure. Here we go. Right, so yeah, that's it. Got it loaded up now, I think. Can you ping that up, David?
You want me to put it on? Right, okay, give me 2 seconds. I'll add to stage. Yeah. So what slide were we on?
Well, I'll just run through. If you can carry on with doing what you're doing, I'll just run through
you run through it quickly, and then I'll jump back in. Quickly.
So this is part 2 of the presentation that I've created. So parasite theory, everybody, hopefully people watched this last week. We've got deceptive parasites. I'm not going to go through it in depth. You can watch last week's show. It's also on my channel, Esoteric Night of Malta, YouTube. The link is on my video screen. Tapeworms. We were just looking at all different types of parasites, roundworms, bot flies, some very interesting. Oops, sorry. Very interesting videos. Pork. I've got the paperwork here, right? I'll show you. This is the bill of sale. I don't want to show you the name of the boat. The name's not being mentioned, but you see here. So the boat was made, I think, by a famous boat builder from Scotland that moved to Denmark because of the wood, called Collins Archer, and he built a lot of boats, a couple hundred boats, and they're worth a lot of money. And a couple of the old boys here think this is one of them. So if it is, that's going to be great news. But you'll see the British Royal Navy captain stole the boat at the end of World War II, 1945. This boat was built in 1938, and you'll see the bill of sale. He registered in 1951 in London. Yeah, 1951 in London, like 6 years after he stole it. It's interesting, isn't it? It's good. So back to the show. It's a lovely old soul of a boat. Honestly, it's beautiful. I love her. Honestly. So yeah, it's my new girlfriend, my boat. So there we go. And this cracking meme with the NHS, and yeah, it's you must think what Chris Whitty. You must think what goes through this guy's head, and Sir Jonathan Van Tam. You must think sometimes what goes on in their head when they're sitting watching TV at night. I think all these people know. I think all these people know what they're doing, and the level of evil is satanic, definitely. We'll keep going. Knights of Order, governing the hospitality industry, hospitals over centuries. And oral parasites, bacteria, nematodes, talking about cleaning your toothbrush and brushing your gums. Parasite strategy, we're talking about strategy in parasites. That was very interesting, how they do seem to have a very, very intelligent strategy as well. The way they will get inside a host, and they will then kill the host to get back into the water supply and back into the stomach of the passer. So it's very interesting. So we're coming up to now. Lunatics and the full moon. It is actually about full moon. Moon day, Monday is full moon this week. It's also a double eclipse, I think, Monday as well, isn't it? It's a double eclipse thing.
Some people were saying on the 8th of some people in the chat remind me, 8th of April, there's going to be a massive eclipse somewhere, especially in Israel. 8th of April eclipse. Let me just actually do a wee. Monday, 8th of April, total solar eclipse, North America, Mexico, United States, and Canada. So usually that doesn't bode so well when there's an eclipse taking place.
I think it's a blood moon on Monday. Actually, that's what I'm getting mixed up. And the eclipse is on the April 8th. But we are coming across some interesting dates coming forward now, and I would expect something to happen pretty soon. But it's like the work that we all do. The work that we do does affect their plans. So we say something's going to happen, and then it might not happen because we've said it's going to happen. Then it's funny. It's very funny. So yeah. So this is where we kind of finished up last week, parasites, and talking about parasites being, I think, they're a bridge to the metaphysical realm. I was talking to Dom from Sheep Farm last night on my channel. I'm going to try and get on a podcast with him and talk about this subject. He's done a couple of interviews with Jerry Marzinski, this psychologist from jails, from the prison network in America. And Jerry Marzinski analyzes psychiatric patients and schizophrenic people, and quite often he's found that these schizophrenic people are, in fact, they are possessed by demons. And he's talked to some of the demons, and they talk to him, and it's a really interesting, very deep subject. Just having a read of this here now. The text in the bottom right corner: delusional parasitosis is a mental disorder which individuals have a persistent belief that they are infested with living or non-living pathogens such as parasites, insects, or bugs when no such infestation is present. Don't know what that's really saying. We're talking about Morgellons. They usually report tactile hallucinations known as formication, a sensation resembling insects crawling on or under the skin. I've had that. I did a detox just before the winter, and at nighttime when it got dark, I could feel it. I thought a fly was on my back, and there was no flies on my back. and it was stuff under my skin crawling around. Well, when I was doing a detox, see, when you start to do a detox, and we'll be talking about detox in the second part, and when you're doing a detox, it makes parasites uncomfortable, and they start moving around, and that's when you can feel them. It's nuts. But this whole Morgellons will take us on to the next slide, actually. And they say Morgellons is created by what they spray above. It's essentially nanofibers. And so this second half of the presentation is actually a bit more advanced technology, and it's really explaining it's kind of showing us all what's actually inside of us. This is a very interesting logo in the bottom left meme. That CDC logo, that is their logo. The CDC. Look at the logo.
The CDC have chemtrails as their logo.
Isn't that nuts? I just clocked it a couple of weeks ago when I was doing this presentation. But that tells you it all. It's telling you. And it's
bloody hell, so they do. I hadn't see that this is why we love UNN. This is why we love Rob. This is the Center for Disease Control logo. I mean, crazy. Wow.
Stick it up, yeah.
Like that is straight up chemtrails.
Crazy, isn't it?
Look at that.
Center for Deaths. Crazy. It's a blue sky with white lines in it. And they're showing you, and there is so much mockery in it, though, isn't there? Crazy, isn't it? With it. And we've never noticed that our whole lives. Oh, even when I find something now, it's very. Sorry, the mouse is giving me issues. Tricky, how you doing, mate? Good to see you in the chat. Good to see you in the chat. The CDC logo. I just wanted to. The CDC logo. How amazing is that? The blue sky with white lines. I just thought that was nuts, man. Honestly, crazy. And I want to play you a quick clip because quite a lot of people watching. So this other clip is very true, and it's like what I was talking about earlier about changing the world. Change yourself, make yourself a better person, be a positive person, be responsible, be disciplined, have discipline. I've started doing that recently, and it's great. So it's good. But check this clip out. It's very true. I love this guy.
Getting to peak potential. Let's get in there right now. Your competition is nobody else except yourself. Your competition is your procrastination in life, your false ego, the wounded soul, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you're neglecting, and the negative behavior you're nurturing, and mainly your lack of discernment. That's what you should be competing against. Now let's go directly into full potential. What do we always talk about? Master your breath, rise with the sun, live in your truth, practice what you preach, drink clean water, bathe naked in the sun, sleep when you're sleepy, learn something new every single day, practice discernment and use it.
So bang on the money. I love that guy. Chevrin Jafarieh. His channel on YouTube is at Wake the Fake Up. It's so windy here. The connection's just going a little bit, but we'll go back into the presentation. And honestly, it's so windy here, guys. I've never done a show when it's this windy before. There's stuff banging on the boat, and I've got to try and just ignore it. And I'm like, anyway, back to the show. Interesting. As soon as you clock it, you're like, wow. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's hidden in plain sight. Someone says over on Rumble, a satanic power has taken over our whole country who had been able to grip key positions of our intellectual and spiritual life and also of our political and economic world. Interesting. We'll need to check who it was said that. But yeah, so what the spraying, because this is the other one as well. Like we are told that it's man-made global warming due to, what's the word? Where I can only go on my eyes. I can only go what I see. And the skies do not look like the skies when I was young. I do not remember planes flying overhead and then all of a sudden the rest of the day having a haze over it. I don't remember that happening.
Yeah, I was just trying to find a slide. It's so blatantly obvious now, and it's like it's just gotten colder today. And what they do, they always seem to spray for a few days, then they stop spraying, and after all the spraying they've done encourages a cold front or whatever they want it to be to come into where we are. It's freezing now down here, but yeah, it's crazy, and I think they're actually, well, I know they are spraying. I was going to say parasites from the air. I wouldn't say parasites. It's actually nanobots. It's nano that will form inside your body and create a system of nanobots, which we'll be looking at now. And it does get a bit crazy. We're going to be looking at advanced technology from DARPA and the US military. We've got a video here to watch. This is a self-assembling 3D egg graphene nanobot. It's very interesting, and I believe this is what they're spraying. It's part of it. It was also in the Jibby Jab. It's very interesting, so check it out.
The volume's a bit low on that, Rob.
Is it? Is it a bit low? Is it?
Yeah, try and crank up a bit if possible.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just look at my settings. I don't know if I can. I don't think I can do it any more than that. Nope. Is it listenable or not? You don't actually.
No, we can't hear it. We can't hear it. We can't hear it.
I'll talk over it. You don't really need to hear the volume anyway. It's just a guy explaining what they are. I can do that. But it's this is the factory, and they're just explaining what these nanobots are. This is just explaining how they're made. Let me just fast forward to the actual bit where I want to show you.
See as well with like the nanobots. Like again, people laugh at the nanobot stuff, but that's all pre-programmed in. Look at, if any of you have seen the recent James Bond, what is it called? Is it No Time to Die? That was all about nanobots, like killer things on you that you spread around and kill you, and
to get vaccinated.
They are
masks,
feeding it in
screw
to the
your
mindset
freedom
already.
That movie was so interesting because it was supposed to be released in 2020, wasn't it? And it got they pushed the release date back a year, more than a year, because of the content of the film and what was happening in 2020. Do you remember? They made it, yeah. So it's really interesting, but I mean, people do laugh about it. You're dead right, but you can see how
I think a lot of people I think a lot of the mocking now comes from Rob. It's ignorance. I mean, even I remember maybe pre-COVID, I would listen to stuff like this, and I would I wouldn't mock it, but I wouldn't think it was serious. Whereas now, it's just like. Again, I think I'm just very frustrated that so many people are so far behind. It's like, I suppose, like, you think about it, you're in a classroom and you're doing, I don't know, long division, and that everyone else is still doing like 1 + 2 and stuff like that. You'd be a bit like, well, this isn't actually ideal.
It's crazy.
First on BBC One, Prince Andrew becomes part of Jimmy Savile's dream team.
And I'm Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kinda glad I never got that call.
Now then, guys and gals, what have we here?
The sheer size of them, like the size, I think they're under a micron, or they're about 1 micron.
Did anyone see as well? Elon Musk said that he tweeted the first tweet using Neuralink. Did anyone see that?
It's crazy, you understand?
So I saw the guy playing chess using Neuralink.
Yeah, and see the amount of people that see when I talk about Neuralink, loads of people are like, "Oh, this is so great," and Neuralink's going to help all these people. It's the same shite as euthanasia. They'll show you someone that's never walked, and as you say, this guy that's playing chess. They won't show you the reality of it, which is people getting an implant into their brain so that they will be controlled by whoever they want. It's like people don't realize that when they buy a Tesla. A Tesla has a kill switch. That kill switch can be operated from Tesla HQ.
Same with anything electrical. If you're driving a Tesla, you're going to be experiencing a lot more radiation from that Tesla. Told you a really interesting fact from the NASA car park in America, and the NASA headquarters. There's a NASA car park, right? So interesting. I saw a video of it, a guy walking around it. The car park, I've said this to you, the car park's full of old cars, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, old classics. And why is that? Well, if there's a solar flare, so their mechanical cars will still work, and all ours won't.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting, very interesting. But just finishing off on the nanobots. I mean, the technology involved in these are just crazy. Even the thing next to it in the video looks like a parasite or something moving. Don't know what that is. But these are self-assembling nanobots, and it leads us on to where we're going next with the next slide. So let me just skip forward. Germ theory, terrain theory. What are they spraying? The picture in the bottom right was a picture from when I was working in Cornwall. Actually, we had some cracking rainbows down there. I don't miss that place actually at all. I told you last week. It's extremely run down, nukey, all down there. So yeah,
Joey.
Shush, Joey.
I know.
You should hear the wind. The wind's nuts.
AI Joey's out of control tonight. Joey.
Right, we've actually got a video to watch. If the whole thing goes like this all of a sudden, then we know we're in trouble. This is a very good video, right? And it's something so interesting, right? I'll just skip forward. I'll try and find this. Right, you see that number there, the photo in the bottom left, 802.15.6. Right, that's essentially a WBAN. Right, WBAN is like Wi-Fi. WBAN was wireless body aura network, area network, but it really stands for what it stands for, wireless body aura network. And this girl, Sabrina Wallace, I'm going to play you a video, 5-minute video from her, but it's very, it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. Listen to her; she's quite funny.
Let's hope the audio is working. Let's give it a play then. Let's hope the audio is all right.
Yeah, we'll try it. Yeah, we'll try it. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that.
Joe said
it should be loud, and we'll try it now. But just on the screen there, you see the captions at the bottom. IEEE, very interesting, right? IEEE is an acronym for the BRAIN Project. Now, the BRAIN Project is run and governed by James Giordano, you know, the famous U.S. military professor that he was talking about. He's talking about warfare in the future will be in the mind, a battle for the mind.
Yeah.
I'll run the VT. Hopefully the audio is better on this. Yeah, I think Lynn, I think Sabrina's telling the truth as well. Honestly, she's got so much evidence. There's too much evidence for it not to be true. And I only just found out about this about a month ago, 2 months ago maybe, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's full on crazy. If people really knew the truth, even the information from Sabrina Wallace, I'll drop a Twitter link in the description for the video. If you click on it, you can follow Heather. I can't remember her second name. She's Sabrina's friend, and she puts out a lot of information as well. Sabrina's not on Twitter, so I'll put that in the description. But like when you watch her videos, it makes you realize, and it makes me think that all of this stuff that's been happening in the last 4 years, yes, it's part of this plan, but they've done a whole load of other shit that we know nothing, that you know nothing about, that's inside of us already. Through this nano, through this, we are already nodes on the network. It's very interesting, very deep, and quite scary when you first find out about it, but it's worth looking at, definitely. Should be. This is a first bit of video about chemtrails, just a 30-second clip, but it shows you how big one of the chemtrails is. Check out how big this one is in the next image.
Yeah, the audio's not coming through for some reason. I don't know why. It's maybe it's hard to do when you're sharing.
Yeah, so it's all right.
What about it?
We don't need it, but you can see that. See, this is what I mean, right? See, when you see one of the chemtrails up in the sky, That's how big it probably is. Well, maybe not that big, but it's going to be like 50 meters in width. It's a lot of poison which they're delivering. So we'll skip forward to when they go. Oh, hopefully this will work. Just look at that there. I was talking about. Do you remember I was talking about James Giordano earlier in his presentation, and he was talking about transmitting the transcranium, I think it is, which is the front of your head. And I said he's talking about voice to skull technology. And he said at the start of his talk, nothing in this presentation, nothing in this briefing is sci-fi. It's all very real. That voice to skull was announced in 1974. So what the fuck? The video doesn't actually play. I had on the show, I actually had I didn't have the audio on the screen share. That's why it didn't work. So it could have worked, but it didn't work anyway. So anyway, I will drop the Twitter link in for the information from Sabrina into the description after. Okay. It's so windy. Can you hear that, David?
Not really. No, not really.
We'll leave it. She's talking. I can leave it playing. I can just wait for a minute. She's a whistleblower, right? Her parents worked for the Secret Service. They were quite high up, like alien level up, or they were in the highest tier of Secret Service. She was experimented on as a kid. She's very intelligent. She works for she works in this industry, and she's talking about the Nano network, this WBAN network, and she's basically talking about how essentially they can track us already from the nano in our body, and it's crazy, man. It's really nuts. I'll send you the video on WhatsApp if you want, so you can watch it later.
Mm-hmm.
But really interesting, and some of the evidence, she's got evidence for everything. This is essentially the picture on the left. That's a WBAN there. There's your aura, and she's talking about this new advanced telemedicine, which is what the NHS is being pushed into. They're going to start being able to monitor your vital statistics, everything, every organ in your body from this nano that's in your body, that they can pick it up. It's pretty next level, pretty scary. But she's pretty she's full on with it. She's got all the evidence. If you want to know more about it, send me an email at ecomtv@protonmail.com. But it's really interesting. We can skip forward because we can't hear the audio anyway. But she's talking about all sorts of stuff, and it's nuts. It even makes me think that all this vaccinations push of the last few years is almost a distraction. It did have a purpose, but from the evidence that she's got, all this like health passports, absolute waste of time. Don't even look at it. They don't need health passports. They've already got us on the network, and it's nuts. It's crazy.
Can I just give a shout out if they're watching? Christopher, thank you, and also David. Is very kind if they're watching the show. Really appreciate that. Just a slight aside, Rob, from this, and it is important to talk about it. David Sachs, who is anti-war in America, saying that it is starting to come out that they do think that the Russians are starting to now say that this terror attack was the work of the Ukrainians, which will certainly be. It will certainly be fun and games if that's the case, you know. And you're what you were talking earlier about British troops being on the ground, potentially French troops on the ground there as well. So we'll
time to get on the boat.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I organised those Not Our War rallies this time last year, and I said that look, people need to waken up. People need to stop. People, we should have nothing to do with this crazy conflict in Ukraine. It's nothing to do with us, and it's going to end badly. And
I told you so. I told you the story about my great granddad, didn't I? About how he went AWOL in World War One.
No, right, okay.
Yeah, he went. Well, I've heard it. Not my granddad, but my great granddad apparently went AWOL in World War One. And it wasn't until then he was actually captured. And what they do, if you went AWOL or absent without leave, when they caught you, they send you straight to the front line, and you'd end up dying for sure. But it just made me think. Since I've become awake, it made me think about the way I perceive going to fight for our country, and it made me think maybe I'm very like him. Maybe he was like me. Maybe he knew what I mean.
Yeah,
it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, we'll go forward anyway. I was talking before about the I've updated this one. The IEEE brain project, right? This is a real thing, right? It's in America. It's very sinister, extremely sinister. Do you remember that Yuval Noah Harari talking about hacking humans? Hacking humans is done through this organization, and it's also done through the last video that wouldn't play, through her information. All this world of corrupt technology, because there's no need for all this. Guys, I've just got to add that it is actually safe and effective technology as well, just to have some balance in the episode, okay? Due to the guidelines, it's very important to state that it is all safe and effective as well, okay? Like frequencies being hit at you when we have the ether that can be harnessed to transmit data, which is what Tesla was talking about a lot. But I actually saw also, I meant to change this top right photo. This isn't the updated version. I was shopping on Amazon the other day. I do use Amazon, unfortunately, sometimes. I think we all do. But there's a Wi-Fi router popped up, and on the advert on Amazon, I saw IEEE on the manufacturer of that Wi-Fi router. And I'm like, wow, on Amazon. I took a screenshot, but I haven't dropped it. It's not the updated version, but very interesting. Professor Giordano currently serves as chair of the Neuroethics program for the IEEE Brain Project, and an appointed member of the Neuroethics Legal and Social Issues Advisory Panel of the Defense of DARPA. He's a very nefarious guy. He boasts about he's boasting. There's a talk from him, and he's boasting about how he can hack humans and how the warfare is actually spiritual, psychological now, and not just physical, which is, I think, very true.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about this a lot at UNN, obviously, with what's going on in the world. It wouldn't be hard to invade this country now, because again, you talk about your grandfather back in 19. You had men who were doing manly jobs. They were working as riveters and things like that, like steel works. Like, it wouldn't be hard to actually take control of this country, because people are just so docile. They're so dopey. Like, you don't see groups of men that would fight. Like, I mean, apart from a small military, I mean, maybe the military could maybe muster 50 to 100,000 people on the streets and guns, and then the police. I mean, I think the police are still, but how many of the police are even trained in how to use a weapon? So, I mean, if we ever did get invaded, I don't know who by, if we would, or what would happen, there would be zero fight put up at all.
It's like Max Eigen's great, another great quote from Max. You got to think of the world as one big holding company, and each country is just a different company. And it's like, like you're talking about being invaded by who? Because it's all essentially run by. It's crazy.
The same people.
This is great.
It's all the same people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's I won't play the video, but I'll run a bit of it. Talking about hydrogel and do you remember hand sanitizer? That lovely stuff.
Yes.
So hand sanitizer has hydrogel in it. It's called quatrium ammoniate, I think it's called. And Max Eigen was talking about it, but this hydrogel is like a building block for this technology to create this self-assembling nanotechnology in your body, and it will actually this hydrogel is a catalyst to build actual almost circuit boards, like an organic circuit board in your body. It's nuts. This is Greg Reese, but yeah, it's just crazy. This is some of the luciferides, I think it is. Anyway, but yeah, very interesting. We'll go to the next one. This is we're going into the Internet of Things again. Technology, CRISPR. CRISPR is another. I think it's a part of the DoD.
Yeah, I remember that Ministry of Defence paper, human augmentation. The dawn. Yeah. I remember that, and
yeah,
I remember them talking about that.
And what from my research, it's pity we couldn't listen to the videos because they give you a bit more in depth of what I'm talking about. But from what I've watched and what I've researched, for me, like all these health passports, even the vaccination did have a purpose, but really it's almost like a distraction, because what they're doing behind the scenes, what I'm showing you now, is what I think they've actually been doing, and they've been doing it since 2004, 2007, 2012, all quite big dates in this implementation of this augmentation of the human body. It's crazy. It's all about radio frequencies, hydrogels. This does create at the bottom of the screen hydrogels in the special juice. Makes this programmable human interface, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Again, if you've got your phone, don't sleep near your phone. Always have your phone at least a meter away from you if you can. I very rarely carry my phone in my pocket anymore, or if I do, turn it off or keep it in flight mode, because what your phone's actually essentially doing is it's actually energizing and charging up all these nano in your body. It gives your phone is essential. This smartphone is essential in this control.
Yeah, I mean, see again, this is the problem, because I know so many people are tempted just to like chuck it and go and live in the woods, but I don't live like that, and I just don't think it's possible to live like that. Obviously, I think you can limit what you can do, but it's so hard to be a purist in this world, isn't it?
Yeah, so definitely, it's like me with a boat, you know. I mean, I'm kind of waiting. I've always been waiting for the sort. I've been away, but I've always been waiting.
You still going to port? Do you know what I mean? You're not out in the. You're not out.
Yeah,
in the
no, I'm in a boatyard, but when the boat's ready, like later my plan is to go end of summer this year. If anybody wants to come crew on the boat, I do actually need a couple of crew members on the boat, so send me an email if you're interested, or comment on one of my YouTube videos. But I've always been waiting for the right time to go, and I don't think the right time's come yet. I think it's coming, but like you say, it's like people that live totally off grid.
Our journey has been arduous.
Almost like live in a cave. Well, you're not really living though, are you? You're acting in a state of fear because you're hiding away from the problem. I think the way out of this is to create a parallel system. I said this on my channel last night. What you're doing, what EKoM are doing, what everybody's doing in our community. We have to keep doing that and be the best person you can be, and try and hope that people see this other system and actually want to come over to it then, and then the old system becomes obsolete. That's the only way out of this, other than a Guy Fawkes moment, I think. You know, it's crazy. Even that, do you remember all the COVID testing up the nose? This is another thing, breaking the blood-brain.
I mean, what that was like. Remember that, and people were pointing out, look, is this to test something, or is this to stick something up there?
Put something up, yeah. There's various videos of things on the end of some tests. I don't think they're on all tests, so don't panic if you've taken a test. But
I never took a test.
I didn't either. I wouldn't take one. Like, well, why would you take one of those things? People
never took a test. Crazy.
And you that cribriform plate that's here. It's like a fine. It's like a sinew mesh, like a soft bone mesh. That test was breaking that. And it's just again, that even in the last year, there's been a lot more parasites found in people's heads and people's brains. Why is that? Because they've broken that barrier. It's really it's almost funny what they're doing, because it's like, I'm not being harsh here, but Jeff Berwick says at the Dollar Vigilante, he says in a way like Bill Gates, Kill Gates, he's almost doing the world a favor because he's getting rid of all the stupid people. It's a bit harsh. I know you like that, David, but that's what I said earlier, right? Because I just want to interject, because I was calling people sheep earlier. I was quite passionate earlier, right? And but it's true, because how long do we, by their compliance, then these plans can be implemented, but they are safe and effective plans too. You need to keep balance on the show. Even a couple of years ago, I said I did an episode one time. It was removed by YouTube. This is an IQ test. It's an intelligence test. What's happening, almost. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think again, this is where I think we are. Thanks, Lex Van Man. I think we are battle hardened, because we're battle hardened with March 2022. No, I never took a test. I never once took a test for COVID. Oh, actually, no. Okay. I never took a test. They made me take a test when I was in hospital. Now I remember. So I was really sick, and they made me take it. They stuck it up my nose and took it when I was in the hospital. Okay, fine. I'm not going to sit and lie to you, but I never took a test voluntarily. I was really sick. I went to the hospital. I've told that story. I went to the hospital. I was really struggling to breathe, and they made me wear a mask. I'm like, I'm not wearing a mask. And then when I was lying down, like spewing everywhere, they stuck a bloody swab up my nose and took it.
Yeah, it's like the NHS, like that meme before. It's like everybody obeys somebody in a white coat. It's like that theory, like all professors are in people in white coats. People tend to obey them.
Yeah,
like
the thing is, a lot of people said I requested the anal version of it. As soon as they told me I was going to get a test, I requested the anal version. I mean, at least I was being consistent, because I felt that would have given a far more. That would have given a far more accurate result, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, so we'll move on to the Internet of Things. This is part of it's part of what they're spraying as well as Internet of Things. I think I coined the phrase that is a digitization of nature, and this is very true. Look at some of Debbie's reports on EKoM. What they're spraying, it's like a nanonization of the world. It's not terraforming, but this nano drops on everything, and some of these computers with AI can read all this nano, and it has a rock. It literally puts everything onto the Internet of Bodies and the Internet of Things. It's full on crazy. Yeah.
Some people point that in the chat. That is, I mean, I know we deal in a lot of speculation, but I can confirm this is 100% true. That is, when Douglas Murray does go abroad, that is his preferred mode of being checked. He requests it at passport control.
You showed a photo of him a while. Right, I've just found this. I found this video. Right, it's brilliant. I've been looking for this for weeks on my computer. It's a video that National Geographic made about parasites. Very interesting. Okay.
I was really shocked when I found out that this is something that affects every single living human, in fact every single living organism on the face of the earth. You could be leading a healthy lifestyle, you could be jogging, eating raw food, taking vitamins and all those kind of things, but these guys don't care. These guys are They're dangerous, they're deadly, they've been around for millions of years, they know what they're doing, and they're inside of all of us, and we're constantly being exposed to this going on, and it's going on inside every one of us, and this is something that we all need to take very seriously.
This is not science fiction. This is scary, it's real, and it's serious. Monsters living inside us, they eat our bodies and control our emotions, urges.
Right, so by definition, right, we all know that animals have worms. Animals have worms. We have worms. So giants had worms. So giants had worms. How big were the worms? And how big were the worms? And where did they go? I think they went into the sea. So does Roger Spurr from Mod Fossil University. And that's why I think you see sea monsters and weird shit, especially down deep. Crazy. But the videos now.
And thoughts.
As a colon hydrotherapist for approximately 21 years now, you wouldn't believe what I see coming out of people's bodies.
This is not just a third world country thing. Everybody has them. Even normal people with lots of money living in suburbia who take showers 3 times a day. If you eat sushi, you have parasites. 1 square inch of raw sushi meat can contain 10,000 parasite larvae and eggs that begin hatching inside you the minute you eat it. The most common kind is tapeworms, which can grow to 60 feet long and live in your intestines for decades. If you have pets, you are guaranteed to have parasites. It doesn't matter if you're vegetarian, raw foodist, vegan, or macrobiotic. Even the healthiest and richest people on earth have parasites. You can't kill them all, only control them, because our bodies have trillions of cells which rely on helpful bacteria like probiotics to work right. If we kill all the organisms in our body, we kill ourselves. The secret is to keep the bad guys to a minimum. Make our bodies so healthy and clean, the undesirable guests won't want to stick around. Parasites are living alien creatures who live off of others. They eat your food, they poop their waste inside you, making your blood, lymph, and tissues toxic. Common signs of parasites are you're tired a lot, sleeping problems, constant itching, weakness, headaches, lack of appetite, or hungry all the time, especially for sweet foods and carbs. Flu-like symptoms, depression, skin problems, acne, arthritis, joint pains, eczema, dermatitis.
Don't want to talk about this too much. I might just mute that and play it because of this platform, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's all safe and effective. It's all safe and effective. Everything's safe and effective. So yeah, but very interesting video, and I think it's bang on the money. And it's scary. I'm going to turn that video off now, actually. So yeah, back to the show. Half an hour, 25 minutes to go, guys. Okay, and then we're finishing up. Go. He's starting to look like Moses with those spiky ears.
Yeah, he does have those ears. Yeah, they're weird. He looks like Legolas. He does look elfish, you're right.
Yes.
And he put out the cheek of him. He put out today all the people criticizing about Kate Middleton. I mean, this guy's like this guy. He's Douglas Murray is a clear security services asset. Clearly works for MI5.
Ben Shapiro, massive.
And so does Ben. Well, have you followed the Candace Owens stuff? Have you seen all that?
Well, I was talking about it last night on my show. Because that clip that you played, she was cancelled for that, wasn't she? About big up Hog Munch in the house, Bridget Macron.
Yeah,
so that's very interesting. Isn't it?
I think it was the talking of certain issues as well around. Ben Shapiro's obviously an ultra Zionist Jew. Candace Owens was taught. I mean, there's a clip tonight. I'll talk about it more tomorrow night. But like, I think there is. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics going on there. A black woman questioning the Zionist Jewish power structure is not going to be tolerated. And I think the big thing for me that I point out is that all these guys like Shapiro, they have a hidden agenda. He works for Israel. He works for Mossad. But it's they piggyback on the free speech movement. They say that they believe in free speech. But when push comes to shove, they buckle. And they're so anti-free speech. I mean, that obviously I'll argue about the bigger picture. But that's the first thing I'll say is, look, these guys build their entire shtick on free speech. Nothing's off limits. And as soon as somebody says something they don't like, they cancel them.
I don't understand you. It's crazy. You understand?
And again, about Ben Shapiro is you go on YouTube, all his videos get shoved in front of you. Facebook, these things don't happen by accident. And I think, obviously the UNN audience is growing. We're getting more. And I think people now kind of, not as many as it should, but they get that that they're being fed things on an algorithm, and if you don't click like, you're not going to get any interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's like this. We'll go back to presentation. The bioengineering, the aura, WBAN. These are just, I'm not going to read it all out, but some of the tools they use, electronic warfare. We all know that's real. Even like that, some actually interesting near the bottom of the text on the left hand side, terahertz bullets, right? So 6G, like 5G isn't really a thing. Well, it isn't. 5G is a 5th generation network. It's not actually, the towers aren't called 5G. It's just a generation of that technology. So 6G is going to be beaming a terahertz wave. Now, the frequencies that we're getting now from these 5G towers is about 1 to 5 gigahertz. When the 6G comes in, it's 1 terahertz, which is 1,000 gigahertz. So what the hell is that going to do to your body if we're already getting damage from radiation already? So it's very interesting. Personally, I think the terahertz wave 6G is to power up robots and to enable this IoT, the Internet of Things, and the IoB, Internet of Bodies. It's very interesting. It's very deep, and it's very scary for some people. But I think people need to be aware of this. Even going on to the column with synthetic biology, we talk about black goo. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Goes to the reptilians and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about it, but same with self-replicating nanobots. Look at all the stuff there. We all know all those names: quantum dots, cloning, Luciferides, DNA manipulation, CRISPR.
Kate Shemirani talked about the Luciferides as well.
It's the thing.
I didn't used to be as big on the naming and the symbolism. I used to kind of, again, I admit that I kind of poo-pooed that, but now it's that, and I don't want to do it because someone will clip it. But they do that hand gesture where they put their hands together, and like so many people do it, and the thing is, people say, "Oh, it's a public speaking." No, it's not. Like, it's not natural. Like, you would just clasp your hands, or you put your hands behind your back. Doing that whole V thing is, and it's only certain types of people that do it.
Yeah,
and they make a point of showing it.
There's somebody that I know in the community that I've just found out that does the same thing, actually, and it's very disturbing when you think these people are good people, and then I've seen a load of photos, and I'm like, wow. It's very funny, and it's like you're talking about earlier about Ben Shapiro, Russell Brand, all these shills.
They throw it all the time.
How do they live? How do they say how they sleep at night? But they know what's happening.
Russell Brand, Rob. Russell Brand subs every month, monthly subscribers to his Awake, 250,000 quid a month. He gets in subs. 250 grand a month. Like, what it fundamentally shows as well is that he is there specifically as a gatekeeper to take people only so far, but I don't just blame him. I blame these people as well, because they want to stay in that safe space that it's all Klaus Schwab, it's all the World Economic Forum, and it annoys me so much because it's far bigger than that.
Yeah, totally.
And but he gets 250 grand a month. Like, that's serious cash.
Totally.
Plus ad revenue, plus all the sponsorship. And I don't even find Russell Brand that interesting. I just find it really, what's the word? Just dull. I don't get it. It's like I listen to content creators who would be considered far right, okay, or whatever, But the fundamental thing about them is they're all engaging, they're all interesting, and even like a guy like yourself, Rob, your stuff is interesting, and it is it
makes you think.
It makes you think. Whereas these guys, I mean, I'm now of the opinion guys like Russell Brand, Lawrence Fox, now Joey Barton, all these people, it's like fast food. They're the McDonald's of the truth world. They're just serving up shite for people to consume.
For sure. It's like me, for instance. I've never done this for money. It'd be great if I could earn some money from it, but it's not about money for me. But even the way I'm looking at it now, I'm lucky if I get 300 views on a current video. Or usually I get about 45 people watching, right? I've got 4.5 thousand subscribers. So I get 45 people watching. That's 1% of my subscribers. I don't want any money. I just want to change the world. I want to try to change the world, make it a better place. And this is what they're doing with all the censorship, and it's crazy what they're doing with the censorship. But they've definitely escalated it on YouTube. I even know some other people, some of my other friends on it.
I just think YouTube's knackered. Rumble is the place. I mean, again, it's not ideal, but Rumble isn't too. And I think people are. I mean, we've got 540 just now on Rumble, which is brilliant, and we'll get a lot more as well. Lex Van Man with the diamond. Thank you. So talk about this, Rob, and there's an interesting flag down there in the bottom right.
Well, it's everywhere though. I mean, it's everywhere. I put it in places because it is everywhere. And talking about Porton Down, Public Health England, like the Skripal thing that went down over there, that was an absolute psyop.
Bullshit, that Skripal. Yeah. I mean, I think all the Skripal stuff was just to prep people for the anti-Russia hysteria. Like they knew there was going to be a war over Ukraine, so that was just a wee let's hate Russia.
Yeah, we got on this slide. It's the Internet of Bodies at a glance, and it's the Internet of Bodies is a bit different to the Internet of Things, although very similar. The Internet of Bodies is talking about the stuff that's either you either wear or is inside of your body, and it's just crazy. Smart clothes, anything with the word "smart" in it, smartphone, smart car, chuck it out. Like it's not good for you. It's really not. I think smart is broken down to similarized military armorative some technology. Anyway, it's like technology for the home, and it's from the military, and it's not very good. Again, Upgrade. If you haven't watched Upgrade, do watch Upgrade. It's a really good movie, and it's talking about you'll see the computer whiz kid in it. Just totally reminds you of Elon Musk, and they've got a chip that they put in your neck that can make you play chess, which was released on the news last week. So it's just a very interesting movie. This is very interesting now. We're coming out of the technology section. This is remedies and solutions. The top right photo is that's what I do in my bath, right? So if you run a bath, chug a load of magnesium sulfate is Epsom salt. You put a little bit of turpentine oil in it, oregano oil, and some vitamin C powder. You can tart up your bath a little bit, because soaking in tap water, like if you're going to soak in tap water, bear in mind that your skin is your biggest organ, and it is going to absorb all of the bad stuff that is in the water. So it's very, very interesting to hear a lot of women say they love long baths, but they might not be that good for them. Fenbendazole
because they do things with the shampoo bottles, Rob.
Good job at Saturday Night Show, David.
Honestly, the thing is they're not really intelligent enough to understand what they're doing, but they just like pick stuff up. And that's just this is what they do.
I had the loofah was worse. But so yeah, we'll just run through a few bits of this stuff. Bottom left, I take a Parasite cleanse every couple of years. Cloves, wormwood, and black walnut tincture. They're all very good. I'm not going to go into all the detoxes because there's many. Also, borax, 20 mule team next to it. That if you do have to drink tap water, if you can't afford filters or something, get some borax. It's very cheap. Put a tiny sprinkle, like a few grains of it, in a glass of water, and it neutralizes the fluoride and the nano in that water. It stops the nano from communicating. So that's another good one. Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. Very, very interesting chemical as well. Coconut oil. The bottom right corner is diatomaceous earth. I've actually just bought some, just started doing it. And what that does, right, is very fine crustaceans from a very long time ago. And it runs through your body. And it kind of like, because it's so small, it cuts all the parasites. It filters your body, so it's very good for you as a detox. Also frankincense and myrrh. And yeah, turpentine's also another one. Turpentine pine gum oil, not turpentine substitute. That's a totally different thing. So
how are we doing for slides, Rob?
We're nearly done now. Nearly there now, mate.
Because Joey's.
Yeah, I bet. I'll go quick.
Excited. You know what he's like. Joey's my good alarm clock now. He's like, I need out.
This is talking about aspartame, hydrogen peroxide. Also, oil pulling with coconut oil and oregano oil will help with parasites in the mouth. Cutting sugar, fasting, deep breathing, and breathing oxygen. 3 very, very big, very important things you can do to improve your health.
Do you know what? That's an interesting thing. Is like breathing. Like, has anyone ever taught how to breathe? Like breathing through your nose, diaphragmatic breathing, like that was. See when you start having like mini panic attacks, and I've said this before. I had a bit of a experience 14 years ago. I got taught diaphragmatic breathing because you shouldn't breathe through your mouth. Your mouth is for talking and eating. You should breathe through your nose. You know, and taking a deep breath, you oxygenate your brain, and you know that was another thing as well is like if you're feeling stressed, like stamp your feet on the ground, ground yourself in the here and now. You know, none of that. We do not talk about any of these things.
Yeah, take your shoes off. Get those rubber soles off your feet.
Yeah. Feel. Do you know what I love doing in the summer? I mean, I'm not like
barefoot. Always barefoot.
Yeah, I love bare feet. See on the sand or see on the grass. See smelling grass. You need dogs like G. He does 3.5 hours. Well, they're big greyhounds. These two. Yeah, I love feeling that on your feet. Yeah. It's nice, and experiencing nature is lovely.
Another really interesting quick one on the breathing. Right, really. Not many people have heard about this, but we always have a reservoir of oxygen or air in our lungs, right? So what to do 3 times a day very quickly: breathe in and breathe right out. Breathe as far as you can go out. Do it again, but breathe right out slowly.
Yeah.
But the point is get all the air out your lungs, then breathe in some clean air, because it refreshes that reservoir.
I used to go to this yoga class, and there was a woman. We used to do the diaphragmatic breathing, and we used to, you know, and it was great stuff. Rob, listen, these two, they're getting too excited.
Yeah, that's right. It's nearly done anyway. I think it's let me just see.
That's quite right. I like that.
These are just quick ones. Maybe we can finish it. It's like 5 more, just quick ones. But it's dead right. Just a quick meme, funny one. Again, we've got the Untouchables. I like to call the Rothschilds and the Royals the Untouchables because they seem to be that with their weird reindeer head on.
Yeah. They are a cartel. Yeah. I mean that picture was a real that was that Evelyn. That was Evelyn de Rothschild.
Evelyn had died. Last year,
and Jacob's dead. So were Jacob and Evelyn brothers, or were they half brothers?
Yeah. No, they were brothers. They were brothers. And there's Nathaniel as well. I think is another. No, he's a son. Nathaniel.
He's a son. He's the son of. He's a Jacob's son, isn't he?
Jacob, I think Jacob. Yeah. So anyway, we'll finish up. Here's another one where do you know what? I made this presentation about 6 weeks ago, and it's still relevant almost. Where the fuck is Kate? So excuse the language, but yeah, so it's very interesting. Taylor Swift, which one is a woman? Probably none of them.
Brewer. I mean,
Hartley Brewer's an interesting one, but I would love it if she's a man. I would love it.
She's not a nice person, and she is ultimately the other thing about Julia Hartley Brewer is she's very so thick. I don't know if you saw as well today. There was like Lawrence Fox was speaking at some sort of rally today, and he was going on about Nike, and he had a pair of Nike trainers on. It's like, it's just like, I do think again that once you become reasonably sharper, you just look at these people and it's cringe.
Yeah, totally. So we're just about finished now. We're talking about, I dropped a bit in about Dagon. Very interesting thing about Dagon is also, it's interesting because you were talking about Dagon a while ago.
Fish god.
Coming from Mesopotamia, Babylon, etc. Before that, I think. But yeah, it's about this infestation in our world. I'm not going into it deeply now because we want to finish up. But there has been an infection in our realm. Maybe it was 5,000 years ago when Nimrod was the first Grand Master of Freemasonry. I don't know, but the Ben stone's an interesting subject. So yeah, and who is God? Is God good, etc. We haven't really got time to talk about that, and you got a meme of Jesus, one of the best memes of last year, smoking a ciggy saying "flood it again," which is probably quite close. Actually, yeah, that's it. So yeah,
flood it again. Yeah. Thank you to Lex Van Man. Yeah.
That flood might be coming
well,
sooner.
We're gonna have interesting times, Rob. Where can people get you? A best bet on Twitter, maybe?
You can follow me on Twitter at Esoteric Malta, or my YouTube is on, just search Esoteric Night of Malta. It will come up because I think it'll come up when you search for it. So yeah, it's been great.
And I think we have to be as anarchic as possible and as questioning as possible. Yeah, everybody give Rob a follow. Rob does some brilliant work and some excellent stuff, and I really enjoyed this wee segment, Rob. It's been interesting.
No, I definitely just want to say something before I go. It's also about being true to yourself. Try to be a leader. Try to be a positive person. So it really is about being true to yourself. Stand up for what you believe in, and don't turn. And just if we all do that, then we, by definition, we will make a difference.
And that's when I
Let's get in there right now. Your competition is nobody else except yourself. Your competition is your procrastination in life, your false ego, the wounded soul, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you're neglecting, and the negative behavior you're nurturing, and mainly your lack of discernment. That's what you should be competing against. Now let's go directly into full potential. What do we always talk about? Master your breath, rise with the sun, live in your truth, practice what you preach, drink clean water, bathe naked in the sun, sleep when you're sleepy, learn something new every single day, practice discernment and use it.
See that about these people. I kind of know who's genuine and who isn't, because there are some people who blow with the wind, or they shit themselves, whereas just saying, look, this is who I am, this is what I believe. You might not like it, not everyone likes you, but this is it. and that's all you need to be and then it's these people show it. Brilliant, Rob. Thanks very much.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Bye.
Good night. Bye. Let's get some R's. Let's get some hard R's in the chat, please, for Rob. And everyone give Rob a follow over there on Twitter as well, and keep up to date with some of the brilliant videos that Rob does. I'll talk about the Joey Barton stuff tomorrow.
Right, we're coming to a close now, guys. We've got another 5 minutes and we're done. It's so windy, it's nuts. I've never done a show like this in my life. I'm going to be away for 2 or 3 weeks doing shows from the studio, but I will be on Unity News this Sunday night. Music's a little bit loud, sorry. Hope everyone's enjoyed the presentation. I really think this whole parasite thing, bioengineering, is not talked about enough, and if it was only in the public domain, then maybe it would make everything more safe and effective. Right, ciao for now. Love you all. Stand in your own truth. Be positive. Lead by example, etc., etc. We all know what to do. Ciao for now. Love you all.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm whacking my pants, putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom, explosion. Overpowering, over the competition. I'm towering, wreck this shit. These lyrics that make you go cock. Don't you dare.
You again. You should have stayed dead.
Get to the chopper!
Çoğunum surle guzu sulara vaz bezih tursun suruk maldin baziminde surluk guzu ulamosun çoğunum surle guzu sulara vaz bezih tursun suruk maldin baziminde surluk guzu ulamosun sumu çoğunum surle guzu sulara vaz bezih tursun
20 minutes. Everything must be destroyed before they reach the lagoon. Ready to dive. Aye, sir. Diving station.
First on BBC One, Prince Andrew becomes part of Jimmy Savile's dream team.
I'm Jimmy Savile, mate. I wrote to Jimmy Savile when I was a kid. I asked him to fix it for me, but he never did. Kinda glad I never got that kill.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Bullshit. You said it's all bullshit.
We have sinners here. They want to confess. What is you want to confess?
I'm here with my friend, and we really want to have a threesome.
Threesome?
Yes.
This is not approved by God.
Why?
It's against marriage.
God said that?
Yes, God said.
When?
Are you copulating?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you married?
No, we're not.
No.
Then this is a sin. Confess and you will be forgiven.
I've been in the shower naked with a man before.
Be
That was fun.
there, here, the way we want.
Yes.
Threesome.
We want to meet a slave, and we want to take turns. You know.
Is this the reason you came to this unholy place?
Yes, yes. Could you find us a
Our
sex
journey
slave?
has been arduous. Tiamat's reign has divided us, but no longer.
But Lady Bellona, have some faith, Merlin. They're gods. What if we're not ready?
Then we'll fall united.
My liege, be on your guard.
It's showtime.
The child and the daggers are no match for our gods!
This is not the end. For there is no end. Death, life, destruction, creation, threads of the same fabric. No matter who you worship, where you call home,
Mistake, I left the music on out of the clip.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
We're in a toxic, loaded environment. My cousin has been saying this for a while. He says, detoxification might be more important than nutrition these days. And that's a really, really powerful statement. If you grasp what that means that, my God, what are we subjected to on a daily basis? And so for me, we have to take it into our commitment for our lives to step forward and find solid truths that work with us and get back to the fundamentals. And look, no, you don't have to do that, but this is just you and I riffing and where my advice comes. There's no one out there that's going to save you. The medical system's not going to save you. This supplement's not going to save you. It doesn't work that way. You have to build foundational health in your mind, body, and soul. You have to have a practice. You have to have rituals. We seem to have become so lazy that just seeing somebody else do a ritual that kind of takes it up for us. There's something
like,
to
you
that.
meditate? Perfect. I don't have to.
Right. Like just knowing someone else is doing the work or is out there doing it kind of satisfies us.